Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. It's a one-shot night, and we will be playing a scenario from issue 5 of The Blasphemous Tome, entitled Number 22. It was written by Matthew Sanderson, who is also our game master. So without any further delay, let's begin our journey into the darkness. Matthew?
Right, thank you very much, Tom. So, it is Saturday, the 14th of December, 2019. Just a short while before the world went to hell. So, everything is fairly normal at this point in time. We are in the kind of southern Midlands in the UK. In fact, rural Northamptonshire. Being December, it is bitterly cold, as it is pretty much most of the way through the year here. The group that we have here, the investigators, are friends or loose acquaintances that are all going to the university together at the University of Northampton. And it's come to that time of year when the lease is up on your student hall's accommodation. So when people will be coming through to claim your accommodation in the next term. So you guys have banded together to get a nice place to yourself for just the four of you that's within commutable distance of the university. And you've been lucky enough to find that having just gone on the market is a 3-bed semi that's been put up for private rent. And doing the maths, you guys reckon that you can afford the place. So you put down an offer, and it was accepted by the landlord. And congrats! Today is your moving in day. You've had a look at the property before. Anyway, before obviously putting an offer on the place to say, yeah, we'll take up the place to rent. It's a fairly nice little place. It's at the end of a cul-de-sac. Say it's semi-detached, so it's on one side. It's connected to the next building. Then you've got a small alleyway, and then there's the next building on the other side. It backs onto farmland. This is the general area around you. So you're in number 22. So over here, you have a gravel driveway at the front of the road. The cul-de-sac comes up here and then splits in two. So it becomes this little, almost like a little T-junction. It's a nice area where cars can turn around and then head back out the main road if you want to. There's a private road behind you which connects up to a local farm off to your left. And then one of the various crop fields immediately behind that, behind a hedgerow. So it's quite a nice rural area. The M1 motorway's a few miles off to the west, so there is a dull hum of car traffic even through pretty much all day and night, but it's nowhere near as it would be loud if you were right next to the motorway. And the house itself, I said you've been through and had a look. There was still a lot of stuff in situ when you went to go and examine or view the property. It looks like the previous owner has died by the look of it, because otherwise there's still a lot of stuff here. There were a lot of books upstairs in the upper rooms, and it seemed to be that he was running his own business out of the house because there were lots of duplicate copies of the same book. It looks like he was an online secondhand book deal seller. So the floor plans of the house look a little bit like this. So on the ground floor, you've got the front door immediately at the front, then staircase going upstairs, kitchen over to your left, communal lounge immediately in front of you, and then converted garage off to the right. Originally, the property was put on the market that it had the potential for 5 different bedrooms. There are only 3 bedrooms upstairs. They were marketing that you could potentially use the lounge and the converted garage as additional bedrooms if you so wished. As 4 of you have taken up, you can keep the lounge as a communal space if you wanted, and then someone else takes the converted garage as their own bedroom. And then the other 3 main bedrooms are upstairs. Single bathroom that's open to everyone, and whoever manages to bag the bedroom up on the back of the top floor can also get an ensuite. Although you're noticing the size difference there, that there is a bit more cramped in the ensuite, shall we say.
Still, it's a private bedroom, a bathroom. Maybe
Indeed.
Josephine should get that.
I'll take the converted garage if nobody objects.
Yeah, good.
Oh,
Yeah, you can have that.
Is that for some psychological reason?
Oh, so if I smoke, my, you guys always complain about the smoke, so I figured.
Huh. It's you that has to run up the bathroom. If I run up the stairs, if you got to use the bathroom.
That's just an option.
Yeah.
So that's 2 bedrooms gone so far. Before we go much further, before we leap into you arriving that morning to drop all your stuff in there, we'll do a quick round robin if people want to introduce themselves and do a little bit of background as to what the others in the group might know about you. Then we'll go from there. We'll start with just going around the screen in order. I'll start with Asa.
Yeah. I'm Asa Flint. I am an engineering student. I was born in, damn it, I looked it up. How do you pronounce it? Leicester.
Yes.
Okay. It's spelled Leicester, but it's Leicester. Okay.
I could have been cruel and put Loughborough because that looks like Luga Baruga.
Well, I'll say I should have known it because, Boston. I was born in Leicester. My parents are both engineers, so they're quite happy that I'm an engineer. But, it was kind of, what choice did I have? I play the guitar. I've been friends with these guys for a while. I'm in a small rock and roll band. We play occasionally in pubs and stuff like that. That's about it. I'm a hard worker. I'm a good student.
Okay. Next round. Next on my screen, we've got Justin Timms.
Hi, I'm Justin Timms. I'm a psychology student. He enjoys rock music, building little model kits, and smoking a little. It's all natural, no alcohol, and just wants to study and have fun and date women and school. School. It's good, but that's about it.
You've got a wonderful pot plant with very distinctive leaves. Keep on the.
Absolutely, that's another reason why I wanted the garage.
And next round, we got John Remmett.
John Remmert. I am a business and economics student. I am taking these courses because one day I will be a CEO of one of the largest corporations in the country. My parents, they own their own business. It's just a small stall down at the local market. I have bigger dreams than them. Of course, I'm at the on the dean's list as I'm at the top of the class of all the classes that I'm taking. I like to know what's going on because you never know when something might come up that will allow me to exploit the market and make some more money. I'd like to do something in tech, but really I'm willing to go wherever the money is.
There we go. And last but not least, Joe.
Well, I was born in Milton Keynes, and I'm pretty much of a bookworm, but I'm trying to make myself branch out a little bit and get out some more. So that's what I think one other reason for living off campus is probably a good thing. Other than that, nothing exceptional about me.
Okay. So one thing to consider. You've got enough space on the driveway that if you wanted to cram them in as best you could fit 3 cars on there side by side. But transport, do each of you have your own car or bike, or do you rely on public transport like the bus route that gets you between the village and Northampton?
Well, there is a bus trip right down the street, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
I'm really on a budget. I don't think I can afford a car.
I have a bicycle, and on bad weather days, worse than typical England weather, of course, I'll take the bus, but I prefer the bike because I don't have to pay for it.
Oh. Are you there, Jason?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, you just stopped moving.
Should I stop video? No, right?
Maybe it'll catch up.
Great.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Gotta love tech. Joe, do you have a car or bike?
I've got an old junker because I have a lot of books to carry a lot of times, stuff like that. But it's pretty iffy as far as transportation goes. So.
So a nice rust bucket with a very old reg.
Yep.
I have an old van that has about 97,000 miles on it.
That's about just about what my old car had before it finally gave up the ghost.
It doesn't have actually a key. I use a screwdriver, and if you just gotta kind of tap it on the left-hand side and turn, and it'll work.
Nice. Definitely students.
You're gonna have to teach me how to that trick. That's interesting.
You got it.
So you've probably met the landlord a couple of times, Mr. Fred Turner, when you've exchanged contracts and when you went to view the house and that kind of thing. Seems like a nice enough guy. You get the impression from some of the things that he said that he's got a number of these properties that he lets out. So it's pretty much his main source of income is you guys and other tenants. Doesn't seem like a particularly scummy individual. He seems quite honest and laid back. When you last saw him going around the house and then exchanging your contracts, he informed you that some of the furniture would be left in situ if you should want it. Things like there's an old sofa downstairs which has seen better days, but there's just wall-to-wall bookcases upstairs where it seems like a load of the old guy's stock, the previous owner, where he kept all that. A load of that, he said, will be gone by the time you get here. It's all being given to a kind of house clearing charity, unless you want to purchase any of it. But otherwise, he's just going to be giving it to charity to cleanse the lot out.
Yeah.
So in theory,
I'll make sure I look through them before they go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you could have got to have a look before you move in. It seems to be the vast majority of the stuff upstairs, which is where he kept most of his stock, seems to be lots of old sci-fi paperbacks and hardbacks. Some fantasy in there as well. Otherwise, the occasional history book. But predominantly, it seems like he was a second-hand book retailer online of sci-fi and speculative fiction.
Okay, well, if there's any in my collection that I'm missing, I'll see about grabbing them.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to grab like a box full of stuff, he'll say, like, if it's a charity store, effectively by 50p a hardback or like a 25p a paperback, grab whatever you want. It's going to go into charity otherwise. So
Right.
he allows you to run right with a box and pick up a whole load of stuff upstairs.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if he's going to let us do that, I'm going to try and keep an eye out for books that, maybe your first edition, something that I could turn for a profit.
Okay, if you're looking for stuff like that, give me a library use roll.
It's not that big of a place.
Nope.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You have a good look round. You're fairly sure that there's nothing here that would be considered massively valuable. There are a few old, beaten-up copies of Folio Society collections, which they are quite nice and they are semi-collectible. But these are editions from back in the 70s and 80s that have subsequently been reprinted. Condition isn't so good, so you might be able to get maybe like 10, 15 quid for some of them online. But it's nothing. There's no big money here, no.
Right.
Justin?
Yes.
I just look for a couple sci-fi books, anything on gardening, and I peruse through the box once or twice and take like a little crate of books.
Yeah, you can definitely. There's bits and pieces all over the place. Predominantly it seems to be fiction.
Those
But,
are dead
you can
man's
come over
books.
some-
Those are
What is
all
that?
dead man's books.
Well,
Yeah, it's very true.
probably sleeping in a dead man's bed too.
Do you want the bed to remain in situ then?
Me, yeah, absolutely. I'm not paying for nothing.
Well, did he sleep downstairs or upstairs? How do you know you're in it?
He slept upstairs. In fact, the room up on the top floor, it's actually the one with the ensuite. That was the only one with a bed left in the room. So
Dead man's room. It's all yours.
I will switch out the mattress, but get you a cheap mattress. But I'm not gonna bother to get things sanitized.
If
Just
the
flip it over.
toilet flushes in the middle of the night, you'll know who it is.
Okay, I'll get this here. Okay, I'll I'm not gonna bother to try to get the mattress sanitized. I'll just get a cheap mattress and put it on the bed.
Oh yeah, they're easy enough to do. In fact, there is a charity place down in Milton Keynes. It's down in Kiln Farm, where they sell lots of beds there anyway, and they do provide a mattress with the bed, so that you can pick up one fairly cheap from there. And they do.
They do. Okay. Do they haul away?
No, Joe. If you're gonna get rid of that mattress, I'll put it in the van.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's brave.
You'll have a ghost in your van. What if she's going to get another charity mattress? She'll just have a strange ghost in her.
Don't even know the house.
Well, at least this will be a steam sanitized mattress.
Yeah, a clean ghost. All right, fine. I forget which other bedrooms. I'll take one of the other bedrooms.
And she's talking about sanitized mattress. I dropped my hot dog on the floor, pick it up, and then continue eating. What do you need to sanitize a mattress for? Come on.
They're just germs.
Oh boy.
Oh, I don't know. I just had this thing about getting sick. I don't know.
Tofu hot dog.
No.
So have we moved in? I know.
Well, this is the kind of the pre-moving in montage of, say, going around collecting books, identifying any furniture that you want to keep. Otherwise, it sounds pretty much like you just want the bare minimum in the house.
Well, and the kitchen. I mean, if there's a fridge, we want to keep the fridge and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, there is an old fridge in there and an old freezer. The landlord, say Mr. Turner, does state that he's planning on renovating the kitchen anyway. So by the time that you get here, there will be a brand new American-style fridge freezer waiting for you, because he wants to accommodate the fact there's going to be more than effectively one living unit in the house. You're all going to need space. So he's getting the biggest fridge freezer he can so that you've got plenty of room inside it. Okay. Likewise, getting a dishwasher, getting a new washing machine set up in there as well. So the kitchen will be pretty much completely redone by the time you move in.
Now, the lounge, you said there was an old sofa in the lounge, correct?
Oh, yes. It's like an L-shaped sofa which takes up one corner of the room. Otherwise, it's a very open, very bare room. There's an old CRT TV in one corner that, again, has its own gravitational pull. You'd think it's because it's so big. But yeah, otherwise, the tech in here doesn't really seem to have been updated or very much attention paid to the living room in quite some time. It definitely has that kind of 90s vibe to it.
Right. Any alcohol left behind?
Yeah, there probably would be a small drinks cabinet.
Okay.
Anything good?
I'll ask him to keep that. It doesn't matter. It's alcohol.
Yeah, it matters a great deal.
Give me a spot hidden roll, thinking of that.
Okay. That is a regular.
Okay. Yeah, you're having a look to see what's in there. There's plenty of bottles in here that are kind of half full. Lots of gin.
Oh.
There's also vodka. There's a distinct lack of whiskey. It seems to be more other mainstream spirits that he's got. But when you think about the fact there's no whiskey or anything along those lines, you'd also notice that there are a couple of rings in the dust where it looks as though something had been put there, maybe a decanter, but it's not there. There's distinctly bits of the drink set missing.
Hey, I think Fred helped himself. Good for him.
Maybe.
Could be. I'll bring in some beer then.
John, this place is pretty cool. It's like ancient, like from the 90s and shit.
I know. My parents told me about this. I think this is like called a sectional couch, and these old TVs. Can you believe people used to have these? I mean,
that thing must weigh 400 pounds.
Yeah, we're gonna have him.
I mean, how would you hang it on the wall?
I know, right? I heard they're good for video games. What do you mean you don't? How do you have a TV sitting in the middle of your living room?
You have like a TV cabinet that you sit it on top of.
Cabinet.
And and they have like you'd have your DVDs and VHS tapes and everything like that underneath in cabinets.
Oh, like a grandma's house. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in that movie E.T., I remember their TV was huge. Crazy.
Well,
That was like from the 50s or something, that movie.
Yeah, you'd have to transport it to your house on your horse-drawn carriage.
This thing has a big enough footprint that it could almost have its own postcode. So, sounds like everyone's done what they would want to do at the house before moving in, unless there's anything else anyone specifically wants to have a look into.
I want to check out the garden.
Oh, okay. Right, there are a couple of ways to get to the back garden. You've got the doors that lead out from the lounge. They swing outwards, basically a pair of French doors, and then go out onto a very small patio. And then essentially is just a rectangle of overgrown grass. There's a shed which is falling to pieces off to your right, that's leant up against the back fence that then has the road to the private farm behind it, and an area that looks like it might have attempted at one point to have been used to grow something. You think probably the remains of what looks to be a rose bush over there, but it's definitely not blooming. Not at the time of year you'd be looking at it. But it looks like not really much has been touched in the garden at all. It's just empty, wasted space.
Is there fencing or is it open? Like I can see into the other backyards.
It's fenced, but the fences aren't particularly high, so you can see over to your left, which goes into the garden of number 21. It's a weird numbering system on this road called the banks, where you have all the even numbers are on one side of the road, and then all the odd numbers are on the other side of the road. So for you, you've got 22. Off to your right, you've got number 20, but then off to your left, you've got number 21, because you're the last even number in the sequence going up the road.
well, if we had like a chair out there and wanted to read in peace, I wouldn't be assaulted too much with the neighbors' goings on, would I?
What kind of fences? Are they chain link or are they slats? The wooden fences?
Wooden slats. They're only probably about 4.5, 5 foot tall, so you can see over them quite easily. Even over the back fence that goes out. But it does mean that you get quite a nice view in the back garden, that you can see the field behind you stretching out.
Oh, that is nice. That is nice, yes.
Also, you could put your band out here. You could rock out. We could christen the house. Have a little party.
We're way too loud for this neighborhood. They come over here and they come with their pitchforks and their torches.
But see, the psychology behind it is you jam out the first night as loud as you freaking can, and then when we have our normal parties, they won't complain because it's not ear splitting.
That's true. You think that we could fix this place up in the back and have a party back here?
Hell yeah!
Oh yeah, we could even charge people to come to the party. You know?
Should we?
You're thinking.
Should we grow tomatoes?
I'm growing tomatoes.
We know what you're growing, but actually, I heard somewhere that you can grow marijuana with the tomatoes. And it keeps the bugs away.
John, I'm telling you,
the leaves are kind of similar for what I hear. Yeah.
You want your next big business venture? I'll be your gardener. We'll do it.
Well, if we can sell it, I'd be interested.
You're going to be some psychologist.
My parents wanted me to study something.
Go into the more psychedelic drugs. Really take a trip.
Yeah.
I'll play the music.
What sort of music do you play? I forget. I know you've said, but
Everything. My band's rock, but really I prefer softer stuff like Alan Parsons and Pink Floyd and stuff like that.
Pink Floyd I like. Alan Parsons.
Don't diss Alan Parsons.
I didn't diss him. I just said
The man was a
between
freaking genius.
I just said between the two of them, the two groups, I prefer Pink Floyd. That's all. It's not dissing.
All right. Just seems to me that's like saying that you prefer hot dogs over hamburgers. They're both delicious.
They're both meat, so gross. But Sex Pistols, man, we're talking punk. That's where it's at.
What? You're only into herbs. You're not into meat. You're a vegetarian.
Yeah.
A smokatarian. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes I eat shrimp, but that's it.
Okay.
Well, unfortunately, I'm Jewish, so I can't do that.
Well, if we do have a party and we're trying to like if people getting used to it being loud on the first thing and then think it's quiet after that, it's like, yeah, anarchy in the UK is must on the list. Yes.
Is there a basement in this house?
No, the floor throughout the whole of the first, well, the first floor to those on the American side of the pond, or ground floor to us on this side. The ground floor is a complete solid concrete base.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you are on a very slight slope here as well, so it's probably one thing that's helped to level it out. But yeah, the whole floor is completely rock solid wherever you go.
Keeps the drainage. The water goes down when it drains.
Yes. One thing you might pick out from if you asked in fact about a basement to the landlord. He says there are some further down the hill, which apparently some of the older buildings in town that date back to the kind of Victorian era. They do have some basements and frequently have to get them pumped out. Water and drainage around here can be an issue, but there's no basement here. The house was built in the 60s, so there's no... it generally wasn't a fad around then.
What's around the area? I mean, we know where the college district is and where we go to school, but like right around here, any restaurants, any clubs, any pubs?
Well, the closest thing you've got in the village itself, you've got a little pub called the White Hart, which supposedly does quite good food. The landlord does say if you want to go there for a meal, you probably want to book it in advance because it's quite in demand. There is a small village shop. Mm-hmm.
No, I was just saying, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, there is a small village shop. There's also a small local butcher that sources produce from local farms. There used to be a chicken farm in the area, but that closed down.
So no eggs.
But other than that, there's not that much in the village itself. There is a little school, just a primary school, so it's for young kids just down the road. Otherwise, you've got a couple of other neighbouring villages. You've got Horton, which is a little way to the south. Piddington, which almost borders on to Hackleton itself. But otherwise, there's not really that much by way of amenities or social life here. You really have to go into Northampton before you find anything like that.
Right. Well, I'm gonna
so
clean.
You want the larger room upstairs or the smaller one? I know with all your musical equipment, you might need more room for the.
It doesn't take up that much room. I'll take the smaller one. That's fine. I mean, I'm an engineer. I've got my. Do I have a computer?
You can have if you want.
Okay, my computer because I'm an engineering student, so I've got a computer. I just need the desk and the computer, and I'm good. You've got all of those books that you're collecting from science. I don't know what you're. You do have your own little library.
I dibs on the science fiction books.
Oh, you can have it. You can have it. I got all my economics books.
We got the whole school library to.
Who the hell uses books anymore? Everything's on my laptop.
It doesn't feel the same.
I know.
I mean,
it's true. I mean, you can't burn your laptop when it gets hot, when it gets cold outside.
No burning books. No, it's just. I mean, I do have I do read it online. You know, I've got a little
Kindle.
Yeah, so not brand Kindle, similar sort of thing like that. That I have a ton of books on, but still, when you just want to relax, sitting there with a book, you can't top it.
All right. Well, I'm going to set up my room.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in which case, it sounds like everyone has done their pre-moving in bits of the montage. We'll cut to the morning of Saturday the 14th, which is when you've got your keys that are being given to you by the letting agent and said you can arrive anytime from like 10 a.m. onwards. Enjoy your property.
Cool.
So we cut to you coming up the road and then turning at the end until when it becomes the cul-de-sac. And as you're maybe arriving en masse, if you're all piling into Joe's car or one of you
carpooling, yeah,
there you go. That makes things
well,
easy.
actually, I don't have a car, so
Somebody could ride in the van. I could.
Yeah, you can get my bike in the van.
we got all of our stuff packed in your van.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go. That makes things easy, so you don't have to worry about the having hired a mover to bring any other stuff. You just all crammed it into the back of Justin's van, and then between you and Joe getting there,
Exactly. We get the
between
people there.
two
Yeah.
vehicles. The first thing that strikes you as a little odd and wondering, this isn't what we were told about, is that there is a big box van reversed onto the driveway, so its back is facing the door of the house. You can see a lady with a clipboard that stood nearby, and you can see people in boiler suits, overalls, going into the house and seem to be removing all the stuff that you were told should have been removed by now.
I beeped the horn a bunch of
the wrong day.
Hey, what the hell?
No, it's the 14th, right?
Just calm down, Justin. Let's go find out what's going on.
All right.
As you've beeped the horn, there will be the lady with the clipboard comes over to you with an expression of kind of, oh God, on her face, looking very apologetic and somewhat deflated already, and maybe a little bit stressed. Comes over to your side of the van, says, "Are you the tenants that are moving in?"
Yeah.
We are.
Apologies about this. Sorry, so guys and gals. We tried to get all the stuff out a couple of weeks back, but we ran into some problems, and this is the first chance we've had to come back. So we're just cleaning up. We're probably going to be no more than an hour. I mean, you're more than welcome to come and give us a hand if you wanted to help speed things up. We don't want to be in your way any longer than we have to be.
I think the guys moving the stuff out should give us a hand moving the stuff in for the.
No.
Okay. She kind of pauses at that and nods and says, "Yeah. I mean, if you want, if you've got a load of stuff, we can easily. That seems more than fair for holding you up. I'm sure I can get the guys to. It's just the stuff you've got in." And she points to the.
Yeah, we don't have that much.
Yeah.
Let's. And I turn to the others and I say, let's make sure that they don't take something that they weren't supposed to take.
That's true.
No.
That's true.
I mean, it'd just be an accident, but we're here, so let's. All right. Yeah, we'll help.
Okay. Yeah, she said it's mostly just taking all the time getting those books out from upstairs. There's so much of them. We've got most of the rest of the furniture, things like the chairs, tables, all the really tatty stuff. I mean, I'm not even sure we're going to be able to sell it. To be honest, it's probably just going to go straight down to the tip.
Now
Well,
on the
let's go.
Matthew, on the books, had I already boxed up the ones I wanted to keep? I take it.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah, the landlord's quite happy to say you just fill a box and go. He's not cared about.
Yeah.
it.
Okay. So I it's about it. So I don't know if would I left it there, or probably I would have just left it there rather than like holding it down, holding it back in.
If you want to have left it there, then it can still be.
Yeah.
there.
I tell guys on the books, leave that box alone.
Maybe we
okay.
piled it all in the living room and we put a paper sign on it that said, "Don't touch this stuff." Yeah.
Okay.
In which case, anything that's been marked "Do not remove," then it is still in situ.
All right.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, there's about probably 4 people inside that you can see that are kind of doing almost like a conveyor system or like a bucket line, but in this case, funneling down boxes full of books from the upstairs room.
Okay.
So the one's coming out from the room, handing it to the next one. He's then going down a few steps, handing it to the next one, and it's just this continuous stream of boxes which seem to be coming out of the room. All the other furniture seems to have been piled up in the back of the van already. So you've got very old, not kind of worm-eaten, but definitely has seen much better days, wooden chairs. It was very sparsely furnished anyway, so there's really all the stuff that is in there. Even in a charity shop, they're probably not going to get anything for it. It's that old and uncared for.
Well, Tim's, I think that we can get some of our stuff in even before they're finished. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to carry my stuff in. I'll go past them.
Okay.
I don't know what we can do to help at this point because they're like in a line. It's just going. So.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we just messed that up. Why don't we
All right.
go in and christen this with some of the gin? Celebrate
I
our
will-
new home.
I will kind of go over to Tim's and say, Justin, and say, make sure that some of that stuff is hidden. If they're going to be helping us move stuff out of the van.
Oh, that's yeah. My pockets are filled. I don't. Yeah.
Anybody even care anymore?
As I have one joint in my mouth about to light it. Why should I not let anybody see?
Just go out in the backyard. Don't
Probably-
stink the house
yeah.
up. No smoking in the house.
That's why I picked the garage. So I can
Yeah, you
open
can
the
still
garage
step
door.
outside and smoke. Smoke the whole fucking house.
I don't ask you to cook your meat in the backyard, but
I like cooking
that's
the meat
fair.
in the backyard. We need a barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. We do. Yes.
If you've got that kind of lingering between your lips as you're moving around, give me a spot hidden. Or it's your choice of spot hidden or psychology.
psychology. Oh, freaking 5.
Oh, what
Nice.
a waste.
Yeah, I know.
Well, you never know. There's one guy, one of the movers, who's down at the bottom of the stairs. So he's the one that's handing the box out to the last person out by the van. He notices, and there's not a disapproving look at all on his face, but more of a case of he kind of looks at you, and you almost get the impression he's like non-verbally saying that's a really good idea in this place. So he nods
give him
very
the head
approvingly.
I give him the head nod.
I put my arm on Justin. I'm like, dude, these could be ex-cons. They're not supposed to smoke drugs.
That's their poor
Don't
life.
get him in
decision.
trouble. Don't get him in trouble, dude.
I just ask him if he's a cop. He's got to tell me. So
He's not a cop, and he doesn't have to tell you. But if he's an ex-con, you can get him in big trouble.
Did the new fridge get delivered?
Yes, all that is in place. So it looks like everything in the kitchen has been put in place already and is running.
All right. I'll go get me a glass, some ice cubes, and pour myself a little gin. Joe, a little christen in the home? Just a sip.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I prefer beer, but I'll go ahead with.
Yeah, but this is free. This is everyone's favorite.
Exactly.
Kind of liquor.
Exactly. Yeah.
No.
Justin? I know, Asa. I know. There was no whiskey. I'm sorry.
I don't drink at all. But we're gonna christen the place. So twist my arm. Just just a couple fingers.
That's a couple fingers. All right.
Yeah, I don't drink. So
Well, for christening, it can be a little.
All right.
I don't like gin very much.
Just swallow quickly. It'll be all right. So I'll pour it out and go to many great evenings at this fine abode.
here.
Was this a pencil box?
Yeah.
Oh,
Taste the juniper. It's delicious.
Oh, come on. It's not that bad.
Okay. If you're keeping yourselves out of the way, the movers, they finally basically pack up everything upstairs. As it reckoned, they take about an hour getting everything done. There's one guy who comes around and just does a last sweep around the house, and then the lady with the clipboard comes in and again does a quick sweep round. Says, everything that should be here is still here, I take it?
yeah, it looks like it.
Yes.
Great. Well, again, sorry about the problem. Like I said, we tried to get it done a couple of weeks ago, but we had a little bit of an incident with one of our movers that came in here, and problems.
Well,
You had a problem with somebody who came in here?
Yeah. One of our guys came in. It's nothing really. It's just he got the.
What, did he have a heart attack or something while he was in here, or what? Why are you so circumspect?
Was it the ghost upstairs that flushes the toilet?
You and your go.
Her eyes open a little bit wide, and she says, "Did one of the guys say something? Because I did tell them to keep quiet about it."
Can I use psychology to be like, yeah, of course, just fill me in on the details.
Go ahead.
20,
Yes, and she won't tell us.
26. It's 1 point away from a heart. I'll spend a point of luck.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we don't want to spread rumors or anything like that. The last thing we want is the the letting agents coming down on us like a ton of bricks. We've got agreements with them to do house clearances when properties like this come up. But yeah, it's embarrassing. One of our guys came in here and says he swore he heard some kind of disembodied voice out in the hallway. Was saying something about freedom or something, but it basically made him need to throw away his pants afterwards. And yeah, he flatly refused to come back, and that was the only slot that we had to try and get the clearance done until now.
Nah.
Yeah.
What's an English house without ghosts?
Well, probably someone's watching that old Mel Gibson movie, Braveheart. And
Maybe it said
freedom.
Maybe it said free love, and it's a ghost from the 60s.
She shrugs. I'd like to say I've got no idea. I mean, as far as I was aware, this place was built in the 60s. It's not old enough to be haunted.
We're not
only
afraid
happens
of
to all
ghosts.
places.
Maybe we're built on an old Indian burial ground.
Like all those Indians that lived in England.
In England, I know.
Exactly.
You got the joke.
Well, we're fine. You know, we're sorry that we interacted at the same time, but all right.
No,
thanks.
not at all. Not at all.
We're going to be planning a christening party, so if you'd want to come back with a couple of your girlfriends, you know, in a couple of days, we're going to be doing a little band out there, some barbecue. Good times.
Well, we're based down in MK, so if you're we're actually out down at Kiln Farm, so if you wanted to swing by and ask us to come along, then not a problem.
Yeah, I'd give her my iPhone. Just pop your number in there.
Okay, yeah, she quite happily taps away and hands the phone back.
Justin, you're incorrigible.
Right.
Does she leave?
Yeah, at which point she leaves.
As she's walking down the path, I say, "Yeah, Justin will come and pick you up in the back of his van with the mattress."
That van is sweet. Don't knock the van.
You and your girlfriends will get in the van.
There's no windows.
Yeah, no windows.
There is no windows, and it's a very light green.
And it smells like pot.
She tries her best to suddenly hide this look of horror that just comes across her face.
Well, I wasn't saying it to her. I was saying it to them.
Oh, right. Okay. Before I forget, I will address a note that's just been put in direct message to me. None of your character sheets have luck assigned. Because I don't do luck on pre-gens. I let Lady Luck do that. So 3d6 times 5, and that is your starting luck. But if you get less than 45, then just top it up to 45 as minimum.
Okay.
All right.
So 3d6 times what?
Times 5.
Times 5.
Yep.
So 58.
7 times 5. Yeah, okay. No. Roll that again. Okay. Should you roll it again? Is it or what?
If you get 10, it's 50.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, 50. All right.
Right. So as the lady with the clipboard is heading on out, you can see a man in a very distinctive red jacket with a bag slung over his shoulder. Basically your local postman, the Royal Mail Post, comes up to the front door and pushes the doorbell to get the attention of anyone inside.
Yeah, I'll open the door. Hi.
Hello there. Must be new. Don't recognize the face.
Yeah, we're new tenants.
I'm
Asa Flint.
Oh, pleasure. Bob. I do the run around here.
When he goes to shake my hand, instead of shaking, I put the glass of gin in his hand.
Oh, well, welcome to the neighborhood. Yeah.
Look, cheers, mate.
So we got Flint, and we got Remmert, and we got North, and we've got Thames. So those are the names that you. If it's anybody else, they don't live here anymore.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the previous owner.
He died.
Wasn't it? Oh, right. Okay. Oh, that's sad.
Did you know the guy? Was he an oldie?
No, he was in his 60s, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he wasn't what I'd call old. But...
Kind of young, yeah.
I suppose if anything comes from Mr. Fred Turner too, you probably know him, the landlord.
Oh, he just looks down at the letter and says, "Well, this just says to the occupant." So
That's me.
Well, yeah.
okay, he hands you a letter. In fact, he hands you a letter and then also hands you a box, a parcel as well.
Oh,
Soup samples.
Oh, wow.
Probably some more books.
Yeah. Do you have any change of address forms? Do you have any change of address forms?
Oh, we can take that. We can take care of that down at the local post office. The nearest depot for you here is off at the Crow Road Industrial Estate, just on the outskirts of Northampton.
Do you come around every morning?
Yeah, apart from Sundays, because obviously we don't work on Sunday.
Okay, and we leave our mail here in this.
Yeah,
I assume there's a box there.
There's a small slot on the front door. If I can't get it through here, I'll ring.
Okay.
Right. Well,
thank you, Bob.
I hope you like the area, and I'll see you again soon. And he starts wandering around to the next houses, carrying his letters.
So I wonder how many women on the street that he's sleeping with, and their husbands there.
Oh, probably just a few.
Why do all the kids look like Bob?
What did he look like, by the way?
Fairly generic, slightly receding hairline, slightly overweight, but otherwise nothing particularly distinctive.
Okay. Well, let's see what's in that box.
Oh yeah,
the letter and then what's in the box.
You're going for the box first. It's not.
No, well, I guess we'll go for the letter first. Yeah.
Okay, you want to open the letter first. Okay.
Yeah.
Happy Saturnalia. Before you start, I had to get the card in the post early this year to beat the big commercial holiday rush. Big commercial holiday in quotation marks. One can only hope that one day the masses will realize how going back to the old ways would be so much better. No more mindless expenditure, instead reveling in their so-called masters, in quotation also, serving them for a change. One can hope. How have you been anyway? It's been a while since I've heard from you. I noticed that the website is down too. You haven't bagged and sold a Gutenberg or won the lottery and run off into retirement, I hope. I'm guessing that you're still busy wringing every last drop out of orphan that you can, eh? Huh. How is he, she, it doing anyway? Well, that's odd. He, she, it. Remember your promise, old friend, when you're done. As the website is still down, have you had anything good come in lately? Still in the market for interesting titles, as you know. I hope you're still giving me first refusal on such works that come your way. Anyway, enough with the long list of questions. Things have been progressing a little slower than I'd like here. I've managed to compile a handful of new entries for my magnum opus in the last few months, but nothing of earth-shattering importance. I decided to try reaching out to one of the little sparks in the end. Damn glad I tried it outside. The little sod would have burnt my house down if I tried it inside. Didn't have any luck trying to get it to talk, though, but it reacted to commands. Might need to invest in a few sheets of wood and try to get it to burn some text instead. But that will be for a warmer night. I'm not going to try something like that at this time of year, not with it being such brass monkey weather at the moment. As always, you're more than welcome to pop over for drinks and the feast on the big days. Can't eat it all by myself, you know. Oh, I've also changed numbers since my phone finally died. Its many years of service were much appreciated. As always, mundane matters only in case Orwell's larger sibling is indeed listening. You know the drill anyway. 07712-345-678. Looking forward to hearing from you soon. Hope you like the Sigillaria, assuming it doesn't get lost in the post. Who knows what their efficiency it might have beat the letter there. No additional prizes for guessing the subject, though. Yours always, D. Sounds like eccentric.
But it said occupied.
Occupant.
To the occupant.
What I took from that was we're invited for dinner.
Yeah.
Well, old dead guy is, but
Yeah.
Well, I'm an occupant. I'm getting some food.
we should probably
I think
call
the
him.
occupant. I think the occupant was he's obviously paranoid, was a way of not using the guy's name.
Thing about Big Brother in there too, or Orwell.
Yeah, that's what I meant. He's obviously paranoid. I did a library roll and regular pass on Orphan A. Is that what? Yeah.
I was going to give you a choice of skills to use there, but that works. In which case, there are 3 obscure references in there that you can now get the meaning to.
Right. Saturnalia, an ancient Roman festival held between 30 December and 5 January. The festival involved public banquets and revelry, as well as sacrifice held at the Temple of Saturn. Social norms were reversed during the carnivalesque celebrations, with masters serving their slaves, gambling allowed, etc. Sigillaria. During Saturnalia, gifts were exchanged between revelers. Among these Sigillaria, figurines made of pottery or wax, often of a jovial nature. This practice adds weight to the argument that Saturnalia influenced customs in later midwinter festivities, such as Christmas. And Orphane, Greek name meaning the darkness of night. In Greek mythology, Orphane was a nymph and mother of Asclepius, custodian of the orchard of Hades. In Roman mythology, Orphine was one translation for the name of the goddess Caligo, the goddess of darkness and chaos from which all things originated. It is theorized that the name might also be an origin for or related to the name Orpheus.
Well, I knew what Saturnalia was, obviously. The other 2 were a little bit iffy, but I figured we figured out the second one from the Sigillaria from the box, because he referenced that with the box.
Well, you should probably call that neighbor and tell the guy he's dead, so that, I mean, the number, tell the guy that he's dead. And
Yeah, but first let's see what's in the box.
oh,
Yeah.
it's not our stuff. Maybe it's the guy
Neither
wants
is
it back.
everything else we're going to be using in here. And I start to open the box.
I'm with Justin there. I can't. I'm too curious.
It's a
Probably one of
cuboid
those.
box.
Just be careful so that they can't tell that we opened it already.
I think he's just slicing it open and pulling it out. So it's not particularly heavy, but it is a little bulky for its got a size to weight ratio. You slice open the tape, and then inside it's a large styrofoam block that you then have to pull out, and then it splits in 2. So you're getting the impression it's probably some kind of figurine or some kind of delicate thing inside.
Little statue, yeah.
And indeed, it is a little statuette. You take one half of the polystyrene out and then take the wrapping paper off it as well, and the little plastic bag that it's in. It's a black dragon that's coiled around what looks to be a little mountain of gold. It's almost certainly resin cast. It's not anything that's particularly... you've probably seen them in... Like,
Chinese, it's little shops and Dungeons and Dragons shops.
That's what I was going to say, John. We could use it when we play D&D next weekend.
It doesn't belong to us.
But maybe it
there
smells.
There is one weird feature, though. One of the wings of the dragon has been snapped off.
Oh.
And it's not in the box. So it's not like it's broken in transit. It's just the one whole wing is missing, but it has been deliberately taken off.
Where it was broken is like, does it look like it was painted over where the break was, or can you see the material that would be underneath?
You can see the white bit where the plastic shining through, and it looks like someone has taken a very small hacksaw and deliberately deliberately taken the wing off.
That kid in school got one of them 3D printers. We could get something printed up and glue it on.
But the guy obviously took it off. So maybe it's like a love heart, but a dragon.
What's the package say? What's the name on the package?
It just says "to the occupant."
Where the occupant?
It's D. Yeah, but it's obviously the letter. Well, was the letter separate?
The letter was separate. The letter and the
I still think you should call the guy in.
All
Tell him
right.
there's been a mix-up.
Just out of curiosity, is there any return address on the box?
No.
Although there isn't a return address, but you do see where the postmark gives you an idea of where it's come from. It's postmarked Oxford.
Oh. That's quite a drive from here, isn't it?
From here, it's probably about in decent traffic, probably about an hour.
Oh,
so
okay.
not too bad.
What is the date right now?
It is Saturday, the 14th of December.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple weeks to go then.
I'm sorry, what was the year?
2019. So a couple of months before the world went to hell.
I see. That's why you said that.
Yeah. But it's about a couple weeks before Saturnalia then.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So remember, I was talking about how I'm into like model kits and planes and shit. So I'm gonna look for like a maker's mark or like a studio or,
Oh, you probably one on the bottom. It looks like it's been a commercially brought piece. Say it's made by a company called Mystic Arts. If you did a quick search on Google, you can find they sell stuff on Amazon. There's lots of bits and pieces on various private sites. So yeah, it's a common make.
See if you can find a piece and see what the wing looked like.
I'll see if I can find that exact piece.
Could it look just like the one on the other side?
Pretty much.
Well, you think, but not necessarily. I mean, it could be,
Is it
could be out
symmetrical?
like that, or one could be bent, or probably, but not necessarily.
It's very slightly off. It's not totally symmetrical, but it's definitely of the same style. But yeah, someone's just taken a hacksaw and removed it completely.
I'm just hoping that we've got a groovy 1960s ghost living in our house.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
You can write a song about it. And
So do we have like a mantelpiece anywhere?
Is there a fireplace?
Above the fireplace. Yeah.
I'm gonna put the dragon above the fireplace.
Yeah, no problem. That's can take pride of place. It's the only thing on there currently.
It's our first delivery, and it's our first Christmas present.
man, if you turn it, you can't even tell the wing's missing.
Exactly.
Well, Flint's right. We probably ought to call the person.
Well, I think I don't know. One of you guys should call because you know how I am. I'd be like, "Hey, your buddy's dead. Sorry."
Well, yeah.
Hey, did you know John? Yeah. Well, you don't anymore.
Yeah.
Do we know what the old guy's name was?
Well, you got the postman Bob mentioned the name Harry, I think, or was it? So I've got to remind myself now. Yeah, Henry.
I mean, I'll call. Give me the phone.
Well, I wonder what his website was. Yeah. Call him. See.
You're like the dad of the group anyway, so.
Fuck's my phone. Yeah. I'm not. What the fuck do you mean I'm the dad of the group?
Nobody else wants to give the shit
I'm
back.
just a really good student. What's the number again?
077-1234-5678.
UK mobile equivalent of putting 555 in front of everything. Okay, you dial the number. It rings. And then you have got through to the O2 messaging service for insert number here. Please leave a message after the tone. Beep.
Hi. I don't know how to break this to you, but
We got your dragon.
well, we're the new tenants.
We got your letter.
And I give them the address where we are at number 22. We just received a letter and a package, your Saturnalia letter and your package. We assume that it was probably for Henry, who lived here before us. He passed away. I'm sorry to say. We don't have a return address, so we can't return the dragon to you. But if you want it, this is our number, and I give him our number. And so you can give us a call and tell us the information. We'll send it back to you. Okay, there was a wing missing, but it was missing when we opened it. Okay, thanks. Bye. Click.
Okay. And
That's if he never calls, then you can keep your little.
Now we got a cool dragon.
Oh, it's Smokey? Okay. Yeah, that's a good name. Yes.
Are we gonna have mac and cheese tonight?
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Yeah, with little
By the way, it sounded like they were hauling out like the kitchen table. Did we get one to replace it?
Yeah.
You've got this little kind of breakfast bar thing in the kitchen, so there is at least a place to sit in there.
Okay.
There is a small coffee table in the lounge, so you got some way. The sofa would easily take all of you, and probably a couple more. It's a little threadbare in places, but it's still comfortable.
It's all right.
So yeah, you've got somewhere to sit down and eat. That's not a problem.
I'll go start cooking.
Well,
just out of curiosity, does the TV work? Is it getting the signal?
Oh,
Yeah, if you go and turn it on, it kind of takes us a couple of seconds to warm up, but then slowly a picture appears.
While they're doing that, I'm going to go online and just type in book dealer and this town and see if I can find the website that this.
Well, he said it was down, but
yeah, but there'd still be like a little like Google thing or something would say, hey, this site,
Henry, oh Henry.
Yeah, I mean,
You're a ghost in our house.
You do indeed find on Google an entry that lists www.brets-books.co.uk. And there are versions of it saved in its cache function that you can go back and see what the page looked like. But yeah, when you go to click on the main link, it just says basically the web server has not been paid, so it's now saying this domain name is up for grabs. So the site itself is down. Otherwise, the stored version of it, when it was live, was a relatively basic, no frills HTML website that's been put together. It has a list of stock of books that are available.
Right.
Give me your choice of library use or computer use.
We'll go with library. And we will fumble that.
Okay, yeah, again, you're seeing a whole load of fiction titles here. Again, you're looking through prices and think, oh, yeah, I suppose if he'd got enough sales on stuff, he could have made a semi-decent income from it. But there's nothing that's leaping out at you. Like the tab that says rare books, you completely are oblivious to on there. So you're just having a look at regular mundane fiction.
I want to use my accounting to kind of see if I can determine, hey, was he having a pretty good turnover of his books? Like, was it a successful business?
Well, John, if you can figure out a way into his website, you might be able to get whatever revenue he's got left in there. What if it's a lot more than you think?
Yeah, could be.
Okay, you can give me an accounting roll.
All right.
You're muted.
I'm muted?
Leslie.
Joe's muted.
Oh. I'm not going to spend luck to pass that. I missed it by 5, so I'll be happy.
Okay, well, what you do then on a miss, you have a think, where would I be able to get records of the business from? You go right down to the bottom of the page where you've got the contact details and the company registration number for the business. Mm-hmm. You log into Company's House Beta, which has a lot of publicly accessible accounts on there. You find his filed accounts, but it's like 18 months out of date now because of the filing date and the fact he's been gone for a few months. And you find it's just an abbreviated set of accounts. So you've got a balance sheet there which has quite a bit stocked away in its stocks, but otherwise very little otherwise in terms of assets other than cash at bank. And he had a modest amount in there, but without a profit and loss statement, you don't know how much he was actually physically making, because it could be he's making a shitload of money and then just ripping it straight out in dividends. There's nothing to give you an idea of what he's actually getting out of it.
John, did you find the website?
I found the archive version of it, and
And just out of curiosity, pull it up. I want to see what books he had besides what we saw.
Oh yeah, and I showed Joe how to find it.
Okay, I'll do a library use roll to see if I spot the rare. Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, that's 12. So yeah.
Okay, yeah. There is this other tab that's up in the corner that says rare books in capital letters. It's a relatively small page. There's not that much there. By some of them, it's also got the word sold, so it's blanked out the price. But it does look as though he did have some larger or big ticket items. In particular, that's listed as being still available at the time when the site was live. There's a copy of I, Robot, which he's got listed by Isaac Asimov, first edition, 1950, selling price £3,500.
Oh,
The Healer's War by Elizabeth Scarborough, first edition, and then in brackets signed from 1988, 3,500. There's a few others. There's a first edition of Brave New World, The Ship That Sailed to Mars, Where Late the Sweet Birds Sang. Non-fiction, he's got a copy of The Birds of America, all 7 volumes, one of 350, £9,000.
That Audubon?
Yes, James Audubon.
Oh, the complete works of. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
That's a huge book.
It's a facsimile edition from 1985, but it's still a 7-volume set.
Yeah, because my grandmother had the smaller version of it, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Justin, did you keep that lady's number? Maybe we can find out where they took those books.
Yeah, I kept her number, and I texted it to you.
There's 2 others that definitely come to mind when you see the prices on them. Utopia di Optimo Rip Satu Dequa Nova Insula by Sir Thomas More, 4th edition, 1518, £37,000.
Wow.
And then there's another one which I'm not going to try and pronounce, but the first word is Euronometria by Johann Bayer, 1st edition, 1603, £29,500.
Are those sold?
No, they were still available at the time when the website went down.
Damn.
Maybe they're hidden in the house somewhere. Maybe they're here. He wouldn't have just put something like that on the shelf.
No. Is there a attic here?
There is an attic, yes.
Yes. Okay. I
If
think
you
we'll
go to
look
the-
in the attic.
Okay, if you go to the top of the stairs, immediately above you, so in the kind of part where there's the door to the bathroom, the door to one of the bedrooms, it's all in that kind of area at the end of the landing. There's a hatch immediately above you, which behind the bedroom in the master, behind the door in the master bedroom, there's a little hook which on the end of a stick. You can use that to poke on up and then pull down the loft ladder to get you up there.
Woo!
Okay. I'm going to make sure I have on jeans and a long sleeve shirt before I go up there, just in case it's unfinished.
Let's all.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
You guys, by the time you're back down, I'll have the mac and cheese, Caesar salad, and I threw a couple hamburgers for you guys.
Don't put too much milk in the mac and cheese. It makes it runny. It's nasty.
All right.
It should be a little thick.
Whatever. Thank you kindly, Justin.
It's only our food.
I'm gonna chill out here with Smokey and finish cooking. I'm actually smoking while I go up to you. That's why they.
Nice.
There's
a
going to
little
be some
extractor.
Psychologist.
There's a little extractor fan in the
Before, as I go past him, I take it and pass it back to him.
Yeah, I'm there,
Right.
chefing it up.
Who's going up the ladder first?
Ladies
I will.
first.
I will.
Okay. Give me a spot hidden roll, please.
Okay.
Now you'll be able to tell if it's really dusty and filthy up there that he didn't put those books up there.
Right. Exactly. Okay. 46.
Probably
That
put it
should
in a
work.
safe deposit box.
That's
Yeah. Regular
probably
pass.
true.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
You have a look around when you get up there, and it is pretty much pitch black. But in the light that's coming up from beneath you, you can see that there's a long beam which runs along the length of the house. And on that beam, you can see there is a little white box with a switch that you imagine is probably a light switch.
How far away is it?
It's within arm's reach, so you can easily push it. As you flick, the lights come on, and you then hear off in the distance this kind of scurrying sound. And with your spot hidden, you do notice a couple of mice just run off into the corner. And the brickwork that separates this part of the loft from the one that occupies the loft on the adjoining house, it's not solid. You can see there are holes through the brickwork, and a couple of mice just scurry quickly through there. But otherwise, up here, the place is pretty empty. There's numerous spiders' webs which are all hanging from the apex of the roof. And what looks to be a large box with a very stylized Christmas tree decoration sign on the side of it, and the tip of a plastic Christmas tree sticking out the top. But apart from that, there is also a single lone rubber ducky which is sat just on its own out in the middle of the chipboard boards that have been put down so that you don't end up having to bounce on beams around the place. Just sat there looking at you, and it is covered in dust.
Oh, Okay, I said, somebody hand me off, hand a rag up to me.
Sure. Here you go.
Yeah.
Okay, do it up. Okay, hand it down. Here's another thing for our mantelpiece.
Okay.
A rubber duck?
Why not? The dragon's lonely.
Why, you got some luck?
No luck yet.
Oh, man.
On that note,
All right.
quickly skipping downstairs while the rubber duck is being cleaned up and passed down. Justin, you're stood there doing your wonderful laid-back chef impression, occasionally tipping ash into the mac and cheese. There's a window which is immediately in front. Well, not immediately in front. It's kind of off to your side slightly, which looks out onto the alleyway. You can see that there's the fence then that separates you from the next house across, and you're fairly sure it wasn't there a moment ago, or they weren't there a moment ago. But you can just see this pair of eyes staring at you over the top of the fence, and this really pale forehead, and what looks to be the long hair of a probably young girl, no more than probably no more than probably 7 or 8 at most, just looking over the fence as if she's kind of stood on something and is peeking in at you.
I'm gonna hold the pot up. You want some mac and cheese? Is this look like scary or like? I mean,
Give me a first aid roll.
first aid.
Well, we're in England. They all look scary.
Actually passed it. I got a 09. No,
Okay.
I failed it. I got a 90. I'm reading them backwards.
Oh right, okay.
Sorry.
You're not too sure for a moment, but then you see this very small hand kind of poke up on the edge of the fence, and then just slowly go wave at you.
I kind of cupped the joint in my hand. I'm like, you hungry?
She kind of cups here and then points at the window.
Oh, I opened the window.
Hello,
Hey, what's your name?
my name's Winona.
Hey, Winona. Justin.
You're new?
Yeah, we just moved in. Would you live next door?
Yeah, I live here with my mummy and daddy and all my soft toys.
Oh, that's cool. How old are you?
I'm 7.5.
Come around to the back. Oh, you can't climb the fence, can you?
No.
Um,
So I would love some food, but I'm not sure I can keep it down. I've got a stomach bug.
Oh, what? I'm gonna look for like any little cup or something and scoop some in and reach it out the window to her.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
And
if you end up kind of leaning far enough over, she can just about reach it from over the fence.
And I'll see if I got a juice box in the fridge and toss it over to her.
Yeah, I mean, she'll gladly take it. She's you can see she's, well, not see, but you get the impression she's definitely stood on something on the other side of the fence. And as she moves back and forward, you think she's probably standing on a large bucket on on the other side. And she kind of moves a little bit, and you can see the top of a very large set, or 2 large sets of ears that are quite a distinctive set of blue that you think is a very large plush Stitch from Lilo and Stitch stuffed toy that she's got tucked under her other arm.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna, since I start, psychology, I'm gonna do a psychology roll, make sure like if she's malnourished or if she's like
Go ahead.
abused or
No, definitely go ahead.
29 out of 60, which would be a regular. Yeah, regular.
You can pick up. She's definitely got an ulterior motive to speaking to you. She wants to ask you something.
Right.
In particular, you also get the impression that she's probably is genuine illness that she's got. She has got a stomach bug, at least that's what she believes she's got. But also that, if anything, you think she would be suffering from in what an adult would be considered to be stress, or she's doing a good job of putting a brave face on it, but she's a scared little girl.
What's wrong, honey?
She kind of looks one way and the other, and then leans as best as she can, leans forward. Just wanted to make sure you're you okay over there.
Yeah, I got a couple other friends here. We moved in. There's another girl too you could talk with too. She might be friends with you.
You've not seen the boogeyman?
No, boogeyman. Come, and I like chuckle. Like, why? What's he look like?
I don't know. I just seen the big eyes in the dark. Mummy and Daddy don't believe me, but I see them. I was worried if they might be seeing you too.
So I look around and I go, I believe you. You and me. You and me,
perks
kid.
up a bit. Yeah, he asked me questions in my dreams. Scary.
You want to meet my friends?
Yeah. I'd probably not best get too close. I don't want to give you my stomach bug.
Oh, that's all right. And I just cut my hand. Yo, oi, come down. We got visitors.
Visitors?
Who knows what he's got? Well, I got this duck
Okay.
I need to put on the mantle anyway.
Right.
What was the girl's name again? I'm sorry.
Winona.
Winona.
Joe, did you say that you could see holes going into the other house?
Yeah. Well, I see a hole in the between the two brick
Between the two brick.
walls. Yes.
I mean, it's what problems they have in their house we have in our house. You said you saw mice.
Right.
We
Yes.
need to
yeah,
get
just
some mouse
little.
traps.
Yeah, just some little ones.
I can
Patch
pick
it up
those
now
up
while
tomorrow.
the mice are in their house. Some
Yep.
steel wool, they can't chew through that.
Oh, we could do that, but who's gonna? I'm an engineer. I guess I should know
Why
how to
don't
do that.
Why don't we just put plaster over the
Why don't we
the
just
opening?
get the landlord to fix it?
Yeah,
Right.
that's,
Well, that's
an
true.
better
Yes.
idea.
Yeah. That's a
That is
better
indeed
idea.
a landlord job.
I'm
Hey,
gonna
Justin, look at this rubber ducky I found, man.
Oh, that's cool. Look at Winona. And I tell her, hey, Winona, grab your bucket and move it around to the backyard. We'll come out there. It's easier.
Dude, is that a little girl?
Yeah, that's our neighbor.
You can't be inviting little girls
She's
into
not
our
coming up.
house.
She's on the other side of the fence.
You said there was this people here. You meant the little girl next door.
And as I walk out,
She's still on her side of the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I walk out if the group follows me to the backyard, I'm like, something's a little off with her. I don't know exactly. I'll get into it later.
Where are your
And then
parents, honey?
Daddy's inside. He's busy. He told me to keep quiet while he was working. He was on a con.
Conference call?
That's it. Yeah, one of them.
Do you know what your daddy
where's your-
does for a living?
But he does computers.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's somebody we want to get to know.
And,
And,
Mummy, I think's down the other end of the village doing gardening.
Oh, okay. All right.
Do any of us bake?
Up to
We
you.
could bake some cookies or something and take them to our neighbors and say
I know how to
hello.
make brownies.
Yeah, not those brownies. Yeah.
Well, you just leave one
Make
ingredient out.
regular brownies. Yes.
And Rice Krispie treats I know how to make too. They're
Everybody
easy.
knows how to make Rice
Those
Krispie
are
treats. Yeah.
friendly, easy enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
she's quite happy to see you guys, but it's quite obvious that when you spend a little bit of time with her, that yeah, she's definitely ill. She's definitely slightly sunken cheeks, looks a little bit thin, and yeah, has that kind of vibe that she's probably been doing what young kids with a stomach bug do, puking up a lot.
Winona, my friends are really cool. You should tell them about what you told me. That way they're careful too.
She looks a little bit around her and says, "Well, I don't want to scare them."
Nah, they're
Oh,
and I
that's
give her
okay,
that
honey.
nod like it's okay, you know.
That's okay, honey. Go ahead and tell us. It's all right.
She kind of leans in and does that kind of kid stage voicing. Have you guys seen the boogeyman?
No.
These big eyes in the dark. He comes to me at night and he asks me questions. He scares me, and I was worried he might be might be scaring people here too after Mr. Brett died.
He just asks you questions, huh?
Yeah.
Do the
asks
questions
things.
scare you? Do the questions scare you, or just him?
It's his voice. I only see the eyes and I hear his big booming voice.
What's he asking you about?
He asked me these weird questions like, who am I? Where am I? Where are my parents? Do my parents love me? It's weird. Doesn't make much sense.
I'm going to go back into the house and make sure that the mac and cheese doesn't burn.
Yeah, it's bubbling away. You can easily have turned the heat down on it. So
Get some water with mix a little bit of juice in there, not very much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she'll quite happily take some juice. I mean, she does very cautiously sip it down.
Yeah, it's watered down, so it shouldn't upset her stomach. Yeah.
So even it seems like it's as it hits her stomach, there's a little bit of a wince, but otherwise she sips it. She's maybe slightly dehydrated, but again, not unsurprisingly.
Well, Winona, sorry to hear about your visitor at night and all. I would just say have a nightlight on and he probably won't come.
I keep my light on as long as I can, and then when normally Daddy comes in once I've fallen asleep and he turns it off. But I've got all my and she kind of raises so you can see the Stitch toy under one arm. All my friends keep me company.
Good. And think about it, Santa Claus is going to be here soon too, so don't worry about it.
Yeah,
I've got a stack of chocolates from the Advent calendar that I can't eat.
It's better. Save them up when your tummy's feeling better, and then you can eat them all at once. It's better that way.
Yay!
Don't worry. And if the boogeyman comes around, just bang on the window or something, and I'll chase him.
Okay, he sleeps in the garage, not on my window.
I'm on the garage side.
All right. She points up to where her bedroom window is. So in the upstairs room, who took the smaller of the other bedrooms that doesn't have the ensuite?
I did.
Right. You are directly opposite her window.
Okay.
So you'd be able to see straight through into her bedroom if you wanted.
Okay. I'm at this point, I'm inside.
Yeah.
So.
All right. You can hear from the house that obviously it's her Winona's house. Suddenly there is a female voice that's kind of calling, Winnie, Winnie. Evidently a somewhat concerned motherly tone. And then,
better run along, little one.
Right. She kind of jumps off her bucket, so she kind of vanishes out of sight, but you can hear her footsteps running back just as her mother comes out from the side door that would go into the kitchen, and then says, "Oh, what have you been doing out here?" And you see this young lady. So coming out of the door that connects into next door neighbour's kitchen. She sees Winona and kind of goes down, and not like rugby tackles her, but goes down and kind of gives her a big hug and then pulls her up. Says, "Dear young girl, what are you doing out here at this time of year? You shouldn't be outside, not when you're ill." And then at that point, she kind of looks over the fence and then sees you guys stood there.
I'm afraid she was curious about us and wanted to say hello.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she is a. She's an inquisitive little thing, aren't you? You little crazy little girl. And she looks up and says, "Yeah, my name's Sue. We're the Hacketts. We're your new neighbours."
Hey,
hi, I'm Joe.
Pleasure to meet you, John.
Oh, I don't suppose you've met my husband yet, James. He's still inside. He works from home. He's probably got his headphones on and is in his world of his own at the moment.
Oh well. I'm glad that most companies don't have to do that for business.
Oh, he's self-employed. He's a self-employed web developer.
Oh, he is.
Oh.
He is. Oh.
So if you need if you ever need a website put together, then he's your guy.
Nice.
So I do odd jobs around the place. Gardening, cleaning, that sort of thing. Just odd jobs around the village. So again, if you need anything cleaned up or help decorating or anything, give us a shout. We can definitely get some time in for you.
Did you know the gentleman that lived here before us?
Oh, Mr. Brett. Yeah, I mean, he was here before we moved in.
Oh,
He was,
yeah.
I think, some. Have you met Colin and Penny? And she points over the fence towards the other house, the one that connects. So number 20 that connects to the house
Oh,
where
not
you're
yet.
in.
No,
We really haven't met anybody yet but your daughter.
Oh, right, okay. Colin might be asleep. I mean, Penny works quite long hours anyway. Colin's retired, so he has a lot of time on his hands. He'll probably be over at some point. He's a very social guy, lovely guy. You'll love him to bits.
Oh, so he knew Brett,
Good.
Mr. Brett?
Yeah. So he was here about 20 years, I think. That Colin said he moved in. He was a nice enough guy. Not really all that much to say about him. Never really had any complaints. He used to have some very late night deliveries, which occasionally woke us up and we got a little bit frustrated with. But
Yeah.
no, other than that. But no, he was a nice enough guy. Kept himself to himself. Ran some kind of secondhand books thing.
He did. Did your
That's good.
husband help him out get the website set up? Was it your husband that helped him out?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we. I mean, he had a very basic thing beforehand. He used to have a bookstore in town bordered on the Market Square in Northampton. But apparently, he sold it up about 20 years ago, moved out here, and then started selling stuff online ever since. He made regular trips down to the post office. That's, that's how the poor guy died.
Oh, going to the post office?
Yeah, hit and run just outside the post office.
Oh,
The
that's
bastard never even. She covers Winona's ears at that point. Yeah, the bad man. She didn't stop. Just some guy in a big BMW just ran on through town, mowed him down, and kept on going. They never caught him, as far as I can remember. Certainly never heard anything.
Yeah, that's awful. You wouldn't know where if he had any place where he would have stored valuables. We're just trying to get stuff back to his family and all. We found some knickknacks and all, but we'd like to, if he would have stored some valuables, where he would have stored those.
I think he mentioned at some point. I think I remember him saying he got a floor safe somewhere in the house.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I remember he said that he got it installed a while back. But yeah, I mean, it depends what kind of valuables you mean, really.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't know, but if it's a hit and run, I assume he might not have had a will. I'd like to return his goods to his loved ones.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't think he really had any. He certainly didn't have much of a family, as far as we were aware. I mean, he didn't have a wife. He didn't have any relatives that came over to visit him. In fact, the only visitor he ever had was the guy that turned up in that huge Bentley, the thing that takes up most of the driveway. It's old.
Wow.
This old big Bentley Arnage, the type of car that's worth about 3 of the houses here put together.
Wow. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I hope your daughter gets feeling better.
Yeah, she's had this poor bug for about a week now. I mean, I don't think this one would object, but keeping her out of school for a few days before Christmas gives her a bit of an extra long break. But hopefully she'll be okay by the time the big man in red turns up.
Yeah, we were talking about Santa. Oh, we gave her a juice box. Hope that's okay.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, nothing will accept that'll upset this one's stomach there. But I'd best get her inside because I don't want to be out in December weather.
Dinner.
Bug.
Exactly.
But yeah, good to meet you, and hopefully see you around. If you need anything, just give us a shout.
Same thing.
Say, we're either one of us is in most of the time anyway.
Cheers.
At that point, she heads back inside, and Winona kind of waves behind her, carrying a little Stitch.
I'm almost running with excitement. I get in and I see Asa is like, "There's a floor safe. There's a floor safe in the house. That's where those books have got to be."
Floor safe ain't going nowhere. There's warm, hot dinner on the stove. Eat.
Yes, that looks good.
Oh, yeah. Maybe our last macaroni and cheese dinner, if we can find that safe.
What do you mean our last
mac
macaroni?
and cheese is comfort food.
Oh.
All right, we'll do a little bit of a montage here then for the rest of the evening. So people sit down and have dinner. I imagine people are unpacking various bits and pieces. What's probably the first thing that you decide to get set in each of your rooms? So what would you be considered to be your like prized possession that you say, I want this out first and I want this in a particular place?
Setting up my computer, yeah.
Okay.
And I'll set it up so that I can sit at the desk and look out the window.
Yeah, you've got the side window, which pretty much looks into the little girl's room. So that's a great lawsuit waiting to happen position to be. Or you've got the window that looks out the front of the house, and that gives you a long view of the street going.
Yeah, that looks good. I can see people coming.
Yeah.
Is the bookcase in my room or not?
There are plenty of bookcases
Okay,
left
well,
in the house. If you wanted to keep a few, we'd like before.
Yeah, put the books in, and my books up in the bookshelf, and while I'm doing it, I'll be looking around see if there's any evidence of a floor safe in here.
Okay. The upstairs rooms, you have a good stamp around, and there definitely seems to be the normal expected hollow gap between the ceiling and the floor below and the floor where you are.
Right.
But the carpets are fairly tight in all the rooms, so it doesn't look as though there's anywhere upstairs. So you're thinking it's probably on the ground floor.
Makes no sense.
But as you're doing that, you can give me a spot hidden roll.
Yeah. 30. Let's see what that is. That's hard.
Okay. As you're doing that, you just happen to look up at the wall occasionally in a few places, like around the skirting board and so on. And most of these walls are covered in plaster, and then they've been painted over. Downstairs, you've got the more garish wallpaper. Like there's one that's got this god-awful kind of browny yellow one in there. There's another one that's kind of green and gold, and then like a brown and beige. That, yeah, looks like it's been in situ for quite some time. But upstairs, it seems like it's mainly just plaster and then painted over. You're fairly sure when you came in the room before, and especially when you went to view the house, that there weren't as many cracks in the plasterwork as there are now. And that you do notice that there seems to be these just little hairline cracks in the plasterwork.
What room?
I haven't looked around. If you're looking around all the top floor, pulling up carpets to see if where the floor safe is, all over the place. And in fact, because you passed your roll, you're fairly sure it's almost as if it's some kind of stress impact fracture, as if something on the other side of the wall hit it and then caused these cracks. They almost certain places they almost seem to bulge out from the wall.
Oh.
Okay, what's on the other side of this wall that we're talking about?
Brickwork.
To where?
In some cases, there's an interior brick wall that goes along the staircase. Otherwise, it's brickwork that forms the shell of the rest of the house. And
it's not against one particular wall. It's all over the place.
All over the place. And these weren't here when you came to view the house in the first place, because you kind of think, well, I would have noticed that, and I would have said about getting the place redecorated.
Flint, take a look at this.
What's up? Oh,
look at these cracks. They look like stress cracks, but they weren't here before.
Are you sure they weren't here?
I'm positive.
No, are they? It looks like they're cracks in the plaster. I wonder if they just like lightly plastered over everything before we moved in, and now the house is settling a little more and cracking the plaster.
That's why I'm asking you.
What's on the other side of this wall? Is this brick?
Yeah.
But this isn't the wall that connects to the other house, right?
Now,
Okay.
say for sake of randomness, you're looking at the wall which runs alongside the staircase.
Do you remember if there was a tree on that side? Maybe they chopped it down and it hit the house? I don't remember if there was a tree over there or not.
Let's see. What's okay? The staircase.
Mhm.
Can we get a view of that picture again?
Yeah, bring up the floor
Yeah.
plans. So
Yeah.
So you are currently looking at, say, on the upper floor, this wall here, which is a brick wall.
Well, what's underneath the stairs?
Well, if you
That's
head
what I'm trying to
downstairs,
figure out.
there is a cupboard door down here. So you head downstairs, go up the hallway. This little triangular doorway, which is directly underneath the stairs. You open that up, and it's a small, what looks to be a small storage area.
Okay.
But it looks like what was once a tiled floor. There's a section of tiling, probably about 4 tiles by 4 tiles square, that's been pulled up and then concrete laid in it. And there's a circular metal plate sat in the middle of it with a little indent that implies it could be flipped up.
Is your floor safe? What if Harry Potter's in there?
Well, funnily enough, when you mentioned about people living under the stairs, there is a latch on the inside of that door that implies that someone could go in here and then lock themselves in. You can also give me a spot hidden roll for down here as well.
What is it?
32.
Just a regular pass.
Okay.
Just shy before I pass. I'll spend 2 points.
Okay, in which case, yeah, I mean, Asa notices obviously the floor safe's there. You could easily put your finger in or thumbnail and then pull the plate up, and then it would reveal what's underneath. It looks like there's no the room itself. Well, it's a cupboard.
Right.
Hasn't been used for any other purpose. Nothing else has been put in here. But Joe notices that on the opposite wall, and then on the ceiling above, so on the underside of one of the steps going up the staircase, and then on this wall, and then on this side, very fine and very precise pencil marks that have been made, probably with a lead feed pencil, because it's very, very fine. Just little crosses. And plotting in your mind where they are, the six of them, so one on each side of a cube, that position to a point that would be just in front of that metal plate.
Can we take a 5-minute break right at this dramatic moment?
This is a good point to have that break.
5 minutes later.
All right. So we're about to reach down and pop that thing open and see what's inside, because, how could you resist?
Yeah, 37,000 books. Yeah.
How big is the thing around?
But I'll describe that where we want to pick.
Okay.
If we pick up from.
Yeah, so we're standing there looking down at it.
Mm-hmm. So the plate itself is probably only about that wide. So you could probably kind of head width or face width is about a good comparison to make. You probably think it might be a bit difficult getting a book down there, at least anything big. You could get paperbacks in there, but definitely not hardbacks.
Maybe he kept his money in there. Maybe
So it looks like it's got this cover on top of it first before you get to the safe itself.
Right. Well, is the cover like it just flips open?
Yeah, so you can either put a screwdriver down there and lift it up, or put your thumb down and then prise.
Yeah, I'm kind of expecting you pop it open and there's a keypad or something. So I'm just going to lean over and pop it open.
Okay. It's a little older than a keypad. The logo on the safe itself, in this little circular plate that's been put on one side of it, says Dreadnought. And the whole thing is, say, about the same kind of size as the plate that you've just taken out. It's got a handle, so not like a lever. It's just a handle, so you can physically grab hold of the thing. Next to a barrel lock keyhole, so you need a key to open it. And then once it's unlocked, you then grab hold of that little handle and then pull the thing out basically like a huge plug.
Need to pick the lock. That might be a lot harder than these locks are made so that they're not easy to pick.
Or find the key.
Or find the key.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Oh, I mean,
Oh.
Are we all there, or is it just you?
So you
two?
guys are up in the house. You guys are about to tell us what you're doing in your rooms.
That is true. So we'll go with John first, and then we'll go to Justin.
all right. Well, first I'm going to unpack my clothes, and of course I've got some nice suits because you need to dress for the job that you want and all. And those are probably my most valued items. And then get out my computer and all. And of course I got a picture of my hero Gordon Gecko that I put up because one day I'll be like him. But you know, when I open up the wardrobe or the closet, you know, check in there because now that I know there's a safe, I'm kind of curious. Maybe there might be something in here.
Okay, you start looking around in there. Give me a POW roll.
Oh, that is a hard.
Okay, as you're looking around, you get the distinct, and it's really distinct. It's not like, oh, this is just a feeling and shrug it off. It's almost as if you realize that you're not the only one in the room, that there is someone watching you, and they're very close by.
I definitely look over my shoulder and make sure they're not right on top of me. And if they're not, then I'm going to spin the rest of the way bodily around and kind of look around and go, Asa?
Okay. Your choice of a luck or spot hidden roll.
I will go with spot hidden and pass by 1.
Okay. You are pretty certain that there's no one else in the room with you. There's nowhere they could be hiding. And yeah, you are completely alone. And as you look around, that feeling suddenly stops.
I'm going to somewhat revert to childhood here and get down and look under my bed. Look for monsters under the bed. I'm assuming it'll be empty, but...
Well, as you seem to be pushing the case, I think you can definitely give me a luck roll now.
Oh, okay. Pass.
Pass, was that?
Yes, regular.
I will leave it to you. Do you want there to be something under your bed?
No, I do not.
Okay, but in which case there is completely empty space under your bed.
kind of give myself a little chuckle and be like, oh, imagining things. That little
Goofy
girl
old
creeped
house.
me out.
And downstairs then, Justin, so what kind of valuable items have you unpacking first and making sure are in the right place?
All right, so now that it's a little bit dusk or dark, the sun's gone down, I poke my head out, I'm like, hey guys, I don't get an answer, and I go out to the van and I get my matching luggage set. By matching luggage set, I mean 2 big plastic black bags of clothing, and I bring them in and I literally rip them open, and where the clothes land is perfect because that's where they're supposed to be. Then I go back out and I pick up my pot plant and my little lights, and I bring them back in and I set up the lights, and then I put up a couple like Apache helicopter models and I hang them on strings from the ceiling.
Okay, right. There's a couple of things here that can trigger stuff. Give me a luck roll.
Oh, freaking 2. I'm wasting all my freaking rolls early.
You can follow that up with a sand check then.
Sand. What's my... Oh, I see it. Freaking 02.
Okay, you are remarkably unfazed by what you see happen. it's mainly with the first bit you say. You just take in your matching luggage set. You know, people pay a lot for that kind of matching luggage. You just throw the clothes down on the floor in like the near corner when you go inside the room. And it's as a couple of pairs of trainers kind of bounce out of the bag, hit the floor, and then vanish as they disappear into the corner of the room, where they become 3-dimensional. Then they become flat 2-dimensional and just seem to fold in on themselves until they are gone. But it doesn't faze you at all for some reason. Maybe you've been smoking a different joint.
I gotta get more of this weed, man. That's freaking. And I light up another joint and sit down on the bed.
Okay.
That was awesome.
Right, and then you proceed to start hanging up your bits and pieces around the room. And it's about this time that, say, Joe and Asa have gone down to the cupboard door, which is just down the hallway from the room, in the door into the converted garage. And that's as they're starting to poke around in there.
You muted.
I was going to say, it's a very, very quiet yell there. Yeah.
Found the safe. Found the safe. I yell upstairs. I said we found the safe.
Oh, shit.
Since I got the heebie-jeebies a bit, that's enough excuse for me to come down the steps. Good.
But we don't think there's a book in it, and there's we need a key. Look, it's in the floor.
What kind of key?
It's a big key. This is a dreadnought safe.
Yo, look up Lockpick Barrister on YouTube.
But the mouth of it isn't big enough to put in a big book or anything. But there might be money.
Oh.
I mean, there could be anything in there. Like bonds, gold bars.
Yeah.
I start Googling on my phone, Dreadnought safe, replica keys or replacement keys or...
Yeah, you do a search around. It pulls you to a number of different locksmith pages all over the country. There are several pages talking about the Dreadnought, that it was described as, quote unquote, the Rolls Royce of safes from back in the 60s through to the 70s. It's not been made so much these days. In fact, the company that made them went bust a few years back, or at least they stopped trading. Some quotes for various locksmiths to get replacement keys say that you'd be looking in the region of 250 quid to get a replacement key done.
Oh.
Ouch.
I mean, we could fiddle with it.
Yeah, let's look underneath, like tape the bottom of cabinets, things like that. Anything.
I like where you're thinking, Joe. Yeah.
Is there also a combination on it, or is it?
No, it's just
okay.
It's a barrel lock.
You know that it could have been stuck to the bottom of something that they threw out.
I know, that's what I was wondering.
Could be, but I mean,
no. Look around, or keep an eye out for it.
Well, say you do a good search of the house for probably the next hour or so, and it doesn't take much time to do the first sweep. It's you just then go over it again and then get another set of eyes on it and say then do another sweep again. Nothing in the house has a key stuck underneath it. Basically, you don't find a key in the furniture that's left here.
Okay. Fuck.
Probably some
Now, if
hollowed out
I was going to
book.
hide a key in the furniture that went out, what piece of furniture would it be in?
Well, there wasn't really anything you could keep stuff in that got thrown away.
Or taped under, or anything like
You
that?
could tape it under a table or a chair, or
There were a couple of tables which were taken away, and chairs.
I look in the toilet tank, and then if there's nothing there, I turn to the guys and say, he sold books. He probably hollowed out a book and put the key inside of a book.
well, the books are all
That's
gone.
true. I could have, yeah.
You can look through your books, the ones that you guys grabbed, but
Yeah.
no, I don't think he would have done that because he
Yeah,
had a
because
whole bunch of copies of the same book.
Yeah.
That would really fuck him up if he sold the wrong one.
Oops, there goes my way into the safe.
Oh,
well.
we
Could have been in his pocket when he got hit by a car and it flew into the bushes. Who knows?
Could have been.
can we go the chimney, the fireplace? Can you stand up in it, or is it too small?
Not that
No,
big.
it's far too small. It's an inbuilt fireplace. It's a gas fire. So you could take that mechanism out so that you can then get to look up the chimney, but it's only about that wide.
I'm
Yeah,
just going to reach up and feel around.
It's probably
It also
not
looks as though no
practical.
one has ever taken that thing out. So
Right.
it's, not certainly
No.
in and out all the time.
Come say,
Good.
come saw.
I'll check out the TV.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have a good look at that. Again, it's not being taken apart.
It has,
It's
okay.
nothing hidden behind it.
Justin, you can look online, see if you can find a guy picking one of those locks and see what he does. And
Yeah, I tell you, lockpick barrister.
he does little hand lock things. He doesn't do safes.
All right, so I'm going to start going into a Google search on how to pick a safe.
You could email him.
And there's almost certainly YouTube videos out there which go into the theory of it. It also explains about how the dreadnought's composed. There's lots of ball bearings in there which make it particularly difficult to try and drill into. So,
Right.
It's designed to be not impregnable, but very, very difficult to get in by any other means than having the key.
Would it be susceptible to freezing the lock?
Or freezing it and then trying to smash it.
Yeah.
The actual plug is about that thick, so
Yeah.
trying to freeze it you'd be able to get the top of it frozen and then try and smash that away. The easiest way would be to basically dig up the floor around the safe and lift basically the whole plug mechanism out and then just go in through the sides. But that would involve going through a concrete floor.
Right.
Yeah. Well, those books aren't in that. Anyway.
No, they're not. They're not. Maybe there's another safe. Who knows? This looks like he would put money in it, like valuable.
Yeah,
Like-
jewelry.
Well, I doubt that he had jewelry, but he probably might have had wads of cash.
Mm.
You know.
Well,
Anyway, I'm going to go back up to my room and finish putting my computer together.
Flint, take a look at these walls, see if there's anything. If you look on one side, look on the other, say that should be wider there, and it's not.
Oh, you
In other
do a
words, there could be-
Sherlock Holmesing and see if we can find hidden gaps in the walls and things like
Yes.
that. We'd have to kind of draw out the floor plan, do some measurements, get out a
Right.
tape measure,
course,
measure everything, but we could do that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, if you two are doing that, you can give me spot hidden rolls.
Okay. I really would like to put my computer together. Because
Eventually
No.
you'll get it together.
spot hidden. Oh no, I'm way off.
Okay.
Me too.
Yeah,
It's going to
finding-
take time.
It's going to take time, but you also find it's the frustrating thing that whenever you try and do your measurements, you find that the room's 2 meters wide, so I'll measure it down here. Hang on a minute, it's like no, it's 2 meters 10.
Yeah, we got to get accurate measurements.
Well, are we incorporating? You need to do the interior of the room plus the width of the average width of the wall, and see if.
And I don't know what English standards are. I mean, in the U.S. they're like 16 inches on the stud. And, who knows? Well, but at least my tape measure has both.
Imperial.
The first thing we need to
Yeah.
do is, well, let's see. It's kind of hard to do because there's a common wall, but are there common walls on both sides of this building or not?
Yeah, the exterior shell should be in theory the same width all the way around.
That's what I mean. The first thing we need to do, if we can, is measure all the way around the outside of the building first.
Yeah,
Get the
only
actual
problem,
dimensions.
the main problem you're getting is that you're trying to do this, and then you're doing it again to double check, and you're getting different measurements each time.
Right.
yeah.
I don't have time for this. This is silly.
Tired. And they probably just, when they build it, I mean, my walls in my parents' house, they were never straight either. I mean, so, I'm sure that we're just tired. We've probably been hanging around Justin too much, getting a little after secondhand.
Yo, this shit's good, Joe. You should try it. My freaking trainers disappeared before. It was sweet.
Your what disappeared before?
My sneakers.
Okay.
What do you mean they disappeared?
I threw my stuff on the floor. They bounced, disappeared, and then reappeared. It was freaking awesome.
No, it didn't disappear. It didn't
Nope.
reappear. It disappeared into the corner of the room and didn't come back.
Oh, it didn't? I thought they came back. Yeah.
No.
It bounced right into the corner of the wall and disappeared, man. They were like 65.
All right.
You are smoking way too much of that ganja.
All right, give me another hit off of it.
That was weird. They cost me
But I'm not going to get
65 quid.
wasted, so.
Man.
So there's no reason why these measurements should be coming out differently. We'll try again in the morning. We'll try again and tomorrow, but they should still be consistent. We know it should be obvious from the interior or things that we're measuring.
Yeah.
All we have to do is add on the widths of the frames.
Yeah,
the
but
walls in
we're
between.
not going to tear these walls up. We put a security deposit down.
We're not going to tear anything up, but if we theoretically we would be able to find if there was a gap.
Yeah.
Of course, could be just a insulation gap.
I'm gonna grab a bag of crisps and wander off back to my room to poke at the wall.
Don't eat all the crisps.
Okay, who's downstairs when you do that?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm on my way up.
I'm a little paranoid about going in my room, so I'm gonna go hang out with Justin.
Yeah, I'll hang out there too.
So I'll roll up.
I don't feel like reading tonight, so.
Here you go.
So the three of you were going with Justin, or the two of you are going with Justin.
Yep. And Asa heads upstairs. Well, first off, then we'll do with Asa going up the stairs. Yeah, you start walking on up. You kind of pause maybe about the third or fourth step up, and you can blink as you don't remember the stairs going like 20 plus steps up, but you just see the staircase go up and up and up and up, and then you blink and there's still like the 10 or 12 steps that get you up to the next floor.
Holy crap.
Can you give me a sanity check?
What's that?
Can you give me a sanity check?
38 is a pass.
Yeah, you're fine.
Justin, I'm getting a contact high from your fucking weed.
I'll turn the vent on. Sorry.
Okay. I'll give
Just
it
out
one
of
more
curiosity,
look.
I'm gonna look for his sneakers.
All right,
Okay.
Over there.
So I'm going the rest of the way up.
So before Justin can get, because he said he was getting chance to go and poke around in that corner, Joe beats him to it. So it's not John and Joe giving me a sanity check; it's John and Justin giving me a sanity check now.
39. Pass.
65, which is a pass.
Okay. Both of you take this kind of remarkably in your stride as Joe walks into that corner, and then you just start to see her concertina in on herself until she completely disappears.
Oh shit!
Joe, yeah, you step forward and find yourself that corner of the room just almost like a pair of blinds just opens up and wraps around behind you, and you find yourself stood in a different room. It looks a little like this. So you've come in where there's the arrow immediately here. There's this large rug that's 8 by 16 feet. 8 that way, 16 foot that way. 4 lamps that illuminate this room that just seems to have, well, on initial impression, it almost looks like this place is floating in void, that there is just black all around you. You're not too sure whether it's like a wall because it's not reflecting any light, but it doesn't feel like it's empty either. It's a weird sensation looking at the confines out, or at least the universe outside of the confines of this rug. 4 lamps, one at each corner, that you can see stand about 6 foot tall, then have lamp shades on them. They are lit. You can see a combination of extension leads that have been plugged in together to form a loop that go around the room. There's a drinks cabinet off to your left. There's a big green leather Chesterfield chair beyond that with a footstool that you'd have to kind of navigate round to get to a chair that's sat in front of a big partner's desk. So it's got 2 rows of drawers on either side. There's a filing cabinet with what looks to be a leather-bound ledger on top of it. There's a small paperback book on the edge of the chair. You've got a printer, keyboard, PC monitor, again an old cathode ray tube monitor for the PC. Then there's what looks to be a large oak cabinet with a set of glass doors on the front, and along the top, a whole row of different little figurines of dragons in different positions. Like one's crawling, is curled around a tower. One of them sat curled around a big chest. The common feature on all of them is that they are all missing one wing. And then there's a big fridge freezer which is humming away to itself here. So,
Okay, sanity check.
No, you don't actually make one at this point.
Okay. Guys, I'm going to reach back. Okay, you say there's an opening where the arrow outside the rug?
You turn back, you turn around and you look out into void, but you can see there is what looks to be the impression of a light somewhere in front of you.
Okay, I'm going to go to the wall. I'm going to go to the wall and I'm going to try to reach my arm out.
Okay, you reach forward, and at which point it's seemingly this kind of blind effect happens again, and you step back into the corner of the room that you went through. And John and Justin see her, the reverse effect. It's like she starts off as this line that then starts to unfold and from 2 dimensions becomes a 3-dimensional figure and is back in the room with you.
I told you this shit was good.
Yeah, but I didn't have any.
No. That happened. That's not that stuff. I've only had a few hits off of it.
And Asa!
Come down here.
What?
You ain't
You
never
gotta see
gonna
this.
believe this.
You got to see this. We can't describe it.
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna go walking. I'm gonna put my hand through, like, to see if I
Okay.
can.
Give me your other hand. Give me your other hand. John, give me your hand.
Oh, you're gonna pull me through?
No, we're not gonna pull you through. We're gonna be his anchor.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
If in
With
which
my
case
head.
Justin goes forward, and Joe can give me a sand check now because you haven't seen this effect yet.
Okay.
What?
Shit.
In fact, we'll
Okay.
We'll go with Asa can give me a sanity check because at the minute you are currently seeing John holding on to Joe, Joe holding on to Justin, and then Justin's arm just stops to just ceases to exist about an inch away from the edge of the wall.
What? I passed actually.
Okay.
0 then.
I didn't.
D3
didn't.
if you fail.
It's
Okay.
it's a trick. It's a mirror trick.
Oh well. I
We're
mean,
holding on to him. It can't be.
Justin, where are you?
I don't know. My arm is through. Or am
Can
I
he
in
hear
the room?
us? Can he hear
You're in there with the other arm being held back.
I don't know.
So-
I don't have my fingers. Don't have eyes. Hold on. And
Can
then
he hear me?
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
just about hear voices when you step through into that room where you're stood on the rug. You appear in exactly the same place where I described Joe appeared. You've got this little arrow pointing back behind you that's been embroidered into the rug. Otherwise, you've got the room as described.
I got the best room in the house.
Where's your shoe?
Oh,
Can I
that's on the
see it?
floor. Yeah, it's next to the fridge freezer.
I'm going forward indignantly. It's a trick. It's got to be some trick of the light.
You
Wow.
walk past them then, and again, it just seems like where the wall meets at the 90-degree angle, it just unfolds in front of you, and you find yourself stood next to Justin in this room that seems to be this carpet floating in void.
How are they doing this?
This is awesome.
It's not smoke and mirrors. There's no way this is possible.
well, I mean, they're all
Just
going.
can't understand it. It's got to be a trick, like Pepper's ghost or something.
It's
That's
like
a magic trick.
Yeah,
The-
I know, but it's not. But like I said, this is not a standard magic trick.
It's
Now
not-
you said there's not walls. It's just void.
Well, it looks black, and
In
it's
all
not reflecting
directions.
any light back.
It's like that Gandalf in the wardrobe book.
Try throwing something at the wall.
It bounces off, even though it looks like it goes off into nothingness. It's just basically the universe ceases to exist at the edge of the edge of that rug.
I'm going to put my
It
hand
doesn't fall
on
into void, because void is just an absence of space. It's kind of implying that it is something by being nothing. If you put your hand against it, it feels solid, but you don't see anything to be
It's
physically
just
touching.
black.
Do I get hit with a trainer when she throws it through?
Oh, if she throws a trainer through, then yeah, you're going to hear it thunk.
I can't understand this at all. Where is this room?
Where would it be if we were
Out in the front
in the
yard?
house?
If it was real space, you would actually be in the next door house by this point, because you would have crossed over into the corresponding corner of the living room of number 20.
Into the Hackett's house?
The Fairburns, Colin, and
Fairburns
Penny
on the other side.
I see
So,
that big old chair, and I go dibs, and I jump towards it and jump
Jesus
into
Christ.
it, and I
Okay.
spin around.
Yeah,
Is the
What's the book over here? I go over to the book.
the book that's on the edge of the chair that
Yeah.
Justin's just happened to jump in.
Right.
He's not sinking nicely into this big, comfortable Chesterfield. His arms kind of out like this on each side. The book is a fairly well-read copy of Arthur C. Clarke's of Time and Stars.
Is it a first edition? No.
No, it's a reprint.
It's just, yeah. I put it
looks
back
like,
down.
read multiple
but
times.
I'm gonna go-
which neighbor's house is this coexisting in space with?
Colin and Penny's.
I'm going to go look
Okay, so
in the
not-
drawers, see if there's anything in the drawers.
Okay. All right. You have a look in there.
Drawer on the left.
Find a key.
I think you might have just found it.
The books might be in here too, somewhere.
Oh,
The valuable
Did you-
books.
you say that out loud?
Yeah, I'll say that out loud.
I'm
Right,
coming in.
the desk drawers have a variety of stationery. There's some miscellaneous paperwork, a big old key that you think would fit into the safe, and also what looks to be a journal.
Oh, I'll grab the journal. Here's the
Okay.
key. I'll toss it to the economics student.
Oh, sorry. Here you go.
No, I wouldn't toss it to you. You'd smoke it.
If you're having a look at the journal, here's some bits that you'll find.
Oh, okay. Here's the guy's journal. Let's take a little sniggledy look at this. The Octavo leather-bound volume is approximately, 200 pages, with roughly half filled with neat and clear handwriting in black ink. Each page appears to be a description of a different fantasy location or world. This gives it the feeling of being a fantasy or science fiction author's notebook, wherein they wrote down ideas for settings for their stories. A few descriptions follow. Yadith, a distant world, once the home to an intelligent, highly evolved, and technologically great civilization. However, the world is now little more than a graveyard, being eaten away by gargantuan worms that invade from space. Eventually, the worms will devour the planet and leave it as little more than the debris orbiting a dying star. Could this be what happened to a planet that once existed between Mars and Jupiter? Thankfully, the worms never made it here. Okay, that's interesting. Zophanois. Zophanute, mistaken by astronomers even on other worlds to be a planetary body. It orbits a star without a name, only a designation, UD72457, a red dwarf some 59,000 light years from Earth. Some races believe it is the carcass of a dead god, left to float in the cold void of space. Others believe it is a species long since extinct. Its vast corpse has provided sustenance for carrion feeders for millennia, and there is enough left for millennia more. Yugoth, a small planetoid on the inner rim of a band of similarly sized planets orbiting its sun at extreme distance. Cold, unforgiving, and gray, the planet is home to a fungal race that have mastered interstellar travel. The fungus guards its planet like all those it has colonized fiercely, but passed it on the way here. Sorry, my reading. Could this be one of the planets in the solar system by another name? This all sounds very Lovecraftian and silly. Ashilialt, the world at the very edge of creation that witnesses the expansion of our universe into the vast unknown of unsphered space beyond. It orbits no sun, but rides the wave of creation that rolls forever outwards. The inhabitants of Ashaliat, Alet, are said to communicate with those who dwell in the void of unsphered space. What secrets they have learned are only guessed at, even by the ancient ones. Many more locations fill the journal. The very last page of the journal is different, stating, kneel, unlock and open with key still in lock, cross arms, left over right, fingertips touching shoulders, close eyes, sic transit gloria mundi, open eyes. Some sort of a little spell of some sort. It sounds like he's emulating so many other weird fiction authors. He's filled his house with it, and he's making bizarre. I don't know. I don't go in for that weird
Sounds
shit.
like he's smoking too much, not me.
Maybe it's all drug induced, but he did say something about the key, and it did sound like he was talking about the safe.
The star designation, would I recognize that as an actual designation?
If you plug it into your phone, your phone and do a quick Google search, it is a red dwarf, and the space, the direction, at least the distance, does correspond to what.
Well, he's got a computer right there, so he was just picking.
And it ends with "thus passes the glory of the world."
Yep.
What was that? The Latin?
Yeah. Sic transit gloria mundi translates as "thus passes the glory of the world." It's historically used in papal coronation ceremonies as a reminder of how short life and earthly powers are.
Yeah, remember thou art mortal. Remember thou art mortal.
It was also in Shakespeare too.
Yeah. There was a ledger in here, correct?
Yes, there are. So there's also various letters and paperwork that's been shoved into some of the drawers as well. Some of those letters look as though they're actually the same type of letter that you received earlier. They look as though they've been banged out on a typewriter.
He's been sending him little one-winged dragon statues for a while, huh?
Oh,
When you say that, I leap off the chair and run over to the dragons to check them out.
Maybe we should bring Smokey in here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like a row of these things that's been set here for a while. There's a little bit of dust on them, so it looks like he's been collecting these things or been receiving them for a few years.
Does it look like they form any sort of progression?
No. The only thing that seems to be a pattern between any of them is that each one has had one wing sawn off.
Always the same wing?
Sometimes it's the left, sometimes it's the right, but it's always that one wing is missing.
This dude broke them all. What a dick.
Yeah.
Are they set like one after the other, 2 inches across, or 2 inches from each other?
They're about the same kind of. They're about an inch apart.
And then there's a TV in front of it, or they're sitting on a TV?
They're sitting on a cabinet with glass front doors.
Oh.
Inside through the glass, you can see it's a row of books that's inside.
Oh.
Or a row on 3 shelves.
Joe, there's some books over here.
I'm gonna go get Smokey.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to check real quickly to find out if there's any significance to Google or actually DuckDuckGo, any significance to like a dragon with one wing missing.
Is
You
there a
won't find anything on the net about that.
Okay.
how's the Wi-Fi in here?
It does actually work.
Interesting.
You can see on the desk there is a router, not a router. But there's definitely a connecting box with a cable that then goes down under the carpet, under the rug, and then goes back out. It just stops abruptly at the edge if you pulled the rug back up. It's a bit like what you saw with Justin's arm. It just ceases to exist at a particular point. But then,
So while they're all doing that, I'm going to go around the room and test everything very carefully, like to see there was like a carpet on the floor, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a huge rug.
Right, to see like if I can pull up the corner of the carpet, or if the cabinets move, or if there's a hidden something, anything hidden.
Yeah, I mean, you pull up the rug, and there's just black beneath. It's when you put your hand on it, it's exactly the same feeling as you get from the wall. And you think that given the dimension going up, if you try to work out where the ceiling is, you reckon it's about another 8 feet up. So hence the dimensions of the room being 8 by 8 by 16. So it's a perfect rectangle.
But I don't find anything odd or
not anything under the carpet or under the rug, rather. No, it's just the cables, like the extension leads, and again they just end. You think that it would correspond with where you walked in and appeared on that arrow. That it probably runs behind the skirting board when it appears back in the real room.
right.
Interesting. I'm going to check
Anything
out
else?
the ledger.
Okay, yeah, you open that up and have a look through. It seems to be as it pretty much says, a ledger. It's a ledger of sales. So he goes down and lists a lot of the income that he's got, but from pretty much the big ticket items. Plus, then there's addresses of various clients where he sent stuff to. There's some very odd like titles of books that are listed there going to people. Some of them, several of them, have all been, it seems, regular customers that come to him and pick up some of these books. Like there's one that's listed here, like True Magic. He sold 2 copies of that to 2 different people. Monsters and Their Kind, the Gahan Fragments, the Sussex Manuscript.
Any of the names begin with D and close to where that
Oxford.
letter was posted?
Yeah.
Oxford.
You find name of Darian Huxley, who has an address just outside Oxford.
Darian Huxley. Okay.
Is there anything in that letter that we received that might tie into the things that we've just now seen? Do we have the letter?
Yeah, you have the letter. The main thing, the kind of gist of it was that obviously he sent the Darian, as you've now identified who it is that sent it, sent him another little gift to add to his collection. Was the mention of this Orphany, he, she, it thing,
Right.
that was mentioned there.
Little spark things that he talked about that lit his books on fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
What odd things.
Strange.
Do I
Sort of
come back in with the statue at this point?
Yep, can do. You appear, you fold into extra dimensional space.
That is so freaking weird.
That is weird. All right, little buddy, I got some friends for you to play with. And I go over and I put them down on the...
Yeah, you put them down. It's the next one in line.
Guys, a little spark, little dragons.
What happened?
A spark, little dragon, light things on fire, little dragons.
Maybe.
If you look at the cabinet, say that's got its dragons, as mentioned, there are 3 shelves inside the cabinet, and there are a number of books on each shelf. As Joe has looked up the list before on the website, you see some familiar titles on spines on some of these. This seems to be his rare book collection.
Ooh.
Except the bottom shelf doesn't have any names on the side of the books.
Oh, nice. I'm going to. So you said the bottom shelf there's books, but they don't have any names on like their spines or anything.
Yeah, they're old. They look the piece. They look old.
Okay. I'm going to try and appraise them.
Okay, yeah, you can give me an appraise roll.
I have to pull them out.
Oh, that is an extreme.
Oh, okay. Well, there's 3 books which are stood on very small kind of perspex stands, so that they are positioned at such a way that it doesn't put stress on the binding, that they are well away from anything else in there. They are mostly 16th century, but there's one that's 17th century. Given the comparative prices that you're looking at for some of the ones on the shelf above, like the pamphlets, like Moore's Utopia, the original pamphlet, well, it's the 4th edition pamphlet anyway, dates from a similar kind of period, and that's in the region of the high 30s in thousands of pounds. You'd be looking at 50 upwards easily for some of these books. I mean, they're all in English, thankfully. The first one you open, Monsters and Their Kind, yeah, that's in pretty good condition. Easily £50,000 plus. True Magic dates from the 17th century, also in English. Again, wonderful condition. You think would be maybe £75,000 plus. And then an older copy again, 16th century English, the Tome of Lost Names, but it is incredibly heavily annotated. Someone has gone through this on top of the print press that made it, and has then written in the margins all throughout the book. You can see lots of it almost look like mathematical formula that's been written down, and some other annotations in it. And then even one part that makes you wince slightly is in red ballpoint pen. That's been the value of that's heavily damaged by its annotations. But well, depends what those annotations are, whether they're worth anything or not.
How good a shape is this book in?
Well, the book itself is okay. It's just been it's heavily annotated all the way.
So
through.
if I were to take pictures, the light wouldn't be damaging the book.
You probably think it would be okay.
Okay, all right. I'm going to take pictures of the zoom in on the annotations and take pictures of them.
Well, we're going to take it with us, aren't we?
Oh, we should leave it
but,
here. This is
it
safe place.
Might be
so we
safer
can
here,
sell it.
maybe.
Give me an int roll as you take those photos to see if you pick up much about what this thing is trying to describe.
Okay.
Well, if it's math, I can do that.
Oh,
I'm an
59.
engineer.
Okay, that should be fine. Okay. Int. Just a regular pass.
Okay. In which case, if you're taking photos, are you letting Asa have a look at it at the same time?
Yeah, sure.
Right. I'm going to send both of you a handout. I'm not going to put it on the screen because this is going to be something that you may want to relay certain bits to, may not want to.
Are you emailing it?
Yeah, I'm going to email it.
Okay.
Right.
Just
Anyone
man,
else
we hit the mother load.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you
man.
can sell these for a fortune.
Yeah.
Plus, I got an extra room. That's awesome.
And you got an extra room, yeah.
Do you think this is like
That's our room.
inside that other house?
Maybe it's underneath it.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't see that we came through anything.
I mean, let's be honest. We all saw that weird shit when we walked through the door.
Yeah, or just your
It's-
arm when you left it sticking out.
It's got to be an optical illusion of some sort, though.
Maybe it's like I don't know. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but maybe like the wall, it's got like a psychotropic paint and you just inhale it when you walk through. And
Nah. It's got to be some sort of like gradient or something. I don't know.
Are you looking around anything else in the room while Joe and Asa are quite intently looking over the book?
I just picked through shit. I'm nosy.
I'm curious in the liquor cabinet if it's got the decanter that would kind of match the dust.
That is indeed where those went, along with a lovely set of crystal tumblers. This seemed to be where he kept the good shit.
Any whiskey Grayson.
Oh, yes. That's in fact where all whiskey is.
Excellent. Well, Justin, a toast or good fortune?
Yeah, absolutely.
Might as well.
In which case, I think the only thing that hasn't been gone, or the two things that haven't been gone through, there's the filing cabinet, which the ledger was on top of.
Okay.
Which, to be fair, probably if John wanted to have a look through that when you went and picked up the ledger anyway, you could do. It seems to be the ledger is the summation of everything that's in the filing cabinet. So it's basically all the raw invoices and individual bits of paperwork and tax returns and so on in there.
Mm-hmm.
The only other thing is the fridge freezer.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that.
I definitely would have looked in there.
Give me a con roll when you open that.
Oh, it probably stinks. I failed that. 56 out of 55. So very
Okay.
good point.
Well, just in case any of you had forgotten what mac and cheese looks like, you get to remind yourself now of what it does look like. When you open the fridge, you get the impression that, well, maybe something in the back of your mind goes away and thinks, yeah, this guy apparently, Henry Brett, died a little while ago. If he wasn't paying his bills to get to keep his website running, he sure as hell wasn't paying his electric bills. The power was turned off, and the stuff in the fridge has gone bad. It's the smell is the first thing that hits you, and it's like being punched in the gut. You just retch, and mac and cheese falls all over the floor, splatters all over the floor, and kind of down your legs and on your shoes. What's
On
in
the
the
road.
fridge is just rows upon rows upon rows of blood bags, and each one has been marked in on a white strip across the middle of it with then in black marker pen, cow, horse, pig, and various combinations of blood.
He's a fucking vampire.
Christ. People,
There's this.
if I'm understanding some of this notation here on the side of this book, it's talking about a way of creating kind of a trans-dimensional bubble in regular space, but it ain't permanent.
Right. First of all, how many cubic feet do you think this is?
And if it closes while we're in here, we're fucked.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
Did
8
you know?
by 8 by 16.
8 by 8 by 16. Let's see.
You know how long it?
It has to be maintained, and he's
Yeah.
been dead.
John, start passing the books out. Let's go.
Yeah.
You start looting the cabinet.
Yes.
And I'm just chucking them on my bed because they're books.
Careful with them.
So
1024.
the copy of Moore's Utopia just gets thrown like a frisbee.
Yeah.
No, not that hard, but I'm tossing them on my bed. Just
Okay,
quick, fast.
you make with haste, and within a few minutes you can get what you would consider the most valuable stuff in here out onto your bed without any difficulty.
Don't forget
I-
Ace's whiskey.
That's
Yeah.
all.
Well,
the drag-
we've got the
drag-
book that we're actually looking at. We've got all
Yeah.
those valuable books. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Step on back outside.
Yeah.
I grabbed some of the dragons just for sentimental reasons.
Oh, Smokey. Shit.
Again, with the important stuff. So you go back inside and grab it.
Yep.
Okay.
Can I calculate mathematically how long the room will be there, or how long it should be there?
You do not know what was invested in it to keep it going.
That's true.
Exactly. Does it look like this is a spell that we could do?
Well,
We've got the book.
yeah, you've got the book in the
book,
caster info. You
What
think
what
you can-
what ingredients does it? I'm assuming it's more than on the handout. What ingredients does it require for the?
It's mostly a mathematical and scientific procedure. There's
There
not
has-
really any witchcraft or anything of that kind of ilk.
Right.
That it doesn't require things to be offered. It's more of a case of getting in the right mindset and then offering parts of yourself up to it. So it's a kind of an effort of will rather than magic.
Then why the blood? I was assuming the blood was for sacrifice, but
No
He's a
mention of blood.
vampire.
No mention of blood in that spell at all.
okay. Well, we're doing Saturnalia. Some of the other, we can do some research on that when we get out. But yeah, but I'm in favor of trying to figure out how to maintain this, if we can.
Well, at least we got the books out, and
Yeah.
we got the key. We got the key.
Sanity
Yes.
roll for reading the book.
But if you want to have a good in-depth read of it, yep, that is going to be
Yeah,
some
I'm gonna start looking at this math.
All right.
Yes.
For
I'm a physicist.
having a look through the Tome of Lost Names, this is, as far as you can tell, through having a look through this for the rest of the night, it looks like a translation of a much older book. There are references to a title called the Necronomicon.
Right.
There's also details within this of more what you would consider in crass terminology to be spells that relate to creating gates as well as warping space that you've already seen. For this little beauty, because it's reading reading text, you don't get a sand check; you just get the straight loss. You can give me 1d6.
John, help me with that sweet ass chair.
2.
That is also how many points of Cthulhu Mythos you gain, because this counts as a preliminary reading.
All right.
You're at least able to identify that there are other such spells like this in regards to creating gates. But yeah,
Creating gates, creating spaces.
you can also give me a luck roll as you're going through it to see if you manage to pick up a particular reference.
I passed, just barely.
Okay. Yeah, maybe it's what was mentioned by, I can't remember who mentioned it now, that you're looking up any significance of having a dragon with one wing. Yeah, there's some illustrations in there and some descriptions of a particular being referred to as hunting horrors of Nyarlathotep.
Oh.
That these beings are like dragons. They're long. They have one gigantic wing that should mean that they're almost aerodynamically impossible to fly, that just flap back and forth and have this huge, at the end of this long neck, they have a huge mouth. These creatures that exist in interstellar space, which are almost immortal and are found throughout the universe, which magicians can call upon to, normally they use them to sick on their enemies, but also have been known to call them and communicate with these creatures because they are intelligent, to learn what they have seen throughout the rest of the universe.
We're talking some wizard shit here, boys and girl.
Yeah.
Well,
All right. Let's get that chair, Justin.
yeah. As we're getting a chair, I'm like, yo, if there's blood in the fridge and this dude is a vampire, maybe that's why Winona is so scrawny and sick. Maybe he was feeding on her.
That's sick.
Well, you saw the fridge.
Yeah.
Why else
I
would
don't
you
know.
want
Maybe he
blood?
had a blood condition of some sort. He had
It's
to,
pig, cow, chicken, dog, whatever. He's drinking that shit.
he's a weird chef.
When we come out with that big comfy chair.
We can't
think
hear you, Joe. You need to.
Yeah, I was going to say, I
Unmute.
think Joe's trying to speak, but you're muted.
Okay. Do you relay the information about the haunting horrors to us?
Yes,
Um,
but this
Is
is wizard
there-
shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, but is there anything about what's required to appropriate to offer to them?
Oh, the whole book is full of spells. I think that this
Is
is
like
taking
blood a
months.
component to? Is blood a component of it?
I don't know. I like I said, just scratch the surface of this book.
Okay.
It mentions the creature by name, but doesn't go into how to command it or how to
Right.
summon it.
Okay.
But
Okay. All right.
that's
And there's
Ace. Ace has got hold of one of those books. Are you looking through any of the others?
And like, there's no reason to believe this wizard shit's true, just because we find old books.
Then I point to the way we went in and out of the room.
Yep.
It's got to be a trick.
I'm with you on that one,
But this is the kind of stuff you see in magic shows, or you see them in what are they like, fun houses at carnivals.
That's way beyond anything like that.
We don't know that. How much do we know about how carnival tricks are done?
I read all the time. I know what tricks they used. You know, is it something weird? Yes. So I would have read on it.
Well, this math in here is pretty freaking advanced. And if it's this advanced coming from some old tome, it bears some study, but it hurts my freaking head to read it. It's so convoluted. But I'd like to keep working on this book. Maybe take notes.
Okay.
You know what I'd like to do? Even if we sell these books for a fortune, I'd like to take them back to the College of Photostat.
heck yeah.
Copies on the page.
Yeah.
I'll be looking through some of these books for references to the creature. Just kind of scanning right now.
Okay. In which case, give me a library use roll.
Okay.
In fact, I might just take this up to my room and page by page use my phone to take pictures
25.
of every single page, put them on my computer.
You can
Yeah.
definitely do that.
Because we could wreck these.
That's an awful lot of points.
Yeah,
No.
you gotta be careful.
I've watched
Yeah.
enough Antiques Roadshow to know that we could, wreck these books where they go, oh, if only you hadn't done this.
Yeah.
Well, no, you're telling me.
It's worth $100,000. But
Yeah. Apparently, there's no references there, or I totally miss them.
It's very convoluted. Maybe the description is slightly different, but yeah, nothing's jumping out at you to begin with.
I'm gonna go to the Dreadnought safe because Asa threw the key to me.
Okay. What do you do?
Wait. Get that passage about the turning the key.
Yeah, that's how you open a safe. You turn the key.
No. There's a passage in that journal. There's a journal entry about turning a key.
excuse me.
Said something about putting your left arm in your right arm and saying some mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
If you
Just
want
rip that page out. Bring it with you.
Don't rip the page out.
I'm not gonna rip a page out.
God.
Okay.
Right at the bottom.
Oh, you kneel. Yeah, you got to. The safe's on the floor. Unlock and open with key still unlocked. See? So I got to do that first. Then I cross my arms, left over right. Fingertips touch my shoulder blades. I close my eyes and I say, sic transit gloria mundi. And what's that mean again? I don't speak Latin.
Thus passes the glory of the world.
Thus passes the glory of the world. Oh, yeah.
Snap a picture of that.
Are you following that procedure when you open the safe?
I'm going to follow the procedure. I think I understand it. So
You have to kneel too.
I kneel down. I turn the key because the way I understand it, I'm going to open it and then cross my arms.
I'm going to take a
Okay.
step back as he does
Yeah.
that.
Doesn't it sound like you're about to create the end of the world?
No, I'm going to get a new pope's what Joe said. Isn't it?
Yes,
You said
yes.
what?
I thought you said this is what they said when they bring in a new pope.
That's what he said.
Oh,
No, that's not what I said. It's like I said that's a line from Julius Caesar when they're talking about Julius Caesar dying.
oh, wow.
I want to check where everyone is at that exact moment in time when the safe gets opened.
I'm
So
about
Lisa's upstairs.
3 foot
John's-
behind John.
Okay, yeah. So John's at ground zero. Justin is
Ground
at the
zero.
back. And where is Joe?
I'm back probably with Justin.
Okay. Right.
There's
This
a
is
black
where-
hole in that pit, in that hole.
That's a good description.
Oh, fuck.
Because what happens is that you are able to turn the key in the lock and grab hold of the handle and lift the plug out. And there is just illimitable void below the plug. It's as if the world just disappears beneath you. And then moving in the dark, you can see it's almost like a snake that starts to uncoil, and two gigantic serpentine eyes open in front of you and then rush forward as this creature that is easily 100 foot long bursts up out of the ground through the opening of the safe. Its one wing almost unfolding around it, smashing almost the whole one side of the house apart in the process, as it shoots up into the sky and roars with a bellowing echo that echoes out across the countryside. John's going to have to give me a dex roll at an extreme because you are right next to it as the hunting horror bursts out of its prison. Joe and Justin can give me a hard dodge roll. And Asa, you will see it basically go up because you're directly above where this happens. Can give me a regular dodge roll
39.
because there's less house to fall on you than the others.
Just a regular.
Okay. I'm going to spend, and let's see, 39. I'm going to spend the 19 points then to make it hard.
I could spend 10 points. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, you can definitely spend luck. You can spend as much luck as you like.
I got 70 out of 30. So I did not dodge. I was busy reading.
Yeah, I need an extreme. I failed.
Right. For those of you that failed, it's a D6 in damage as basically the house is starting to collapse around you as this huge thing just shoots up out of the hole.
Oh, 6.
Oh, 5
It hit
points.
me and flung me against the wall and maybe out the window.
In which case, is that more than half of anyone's hit points?
That is just one more than half for me.
Okay, give me a
less.
con roll.
One
It
less
sounds
than
like
half for
John's-
me.
I got a 19, so that is really good. That's hard.
You
I'm
are not
unconscious.
You're not unconscious, no. Whereas Justin and Joe realize that, yep, maybe they are in the best position to have said, let's just step back a little bit. As the wall comes down, it knocks into one of the other supporting walls that runs alongside the entrance to the converted garage. And you're basically face down next to each other in that gap where the wall just misses coming down on top of you. And this thing writhes into the air. You can hear the flap, flap, flap of its one wing beating against the night sky above you. And it just roars into the night and echoes out across the landscape. What do you do?
I say we complained about a gas leak or something.
Joe, was that Smokey?
That was the real life Smokey, I think.
I got it.
But we didn't see that. We did not see that. The gas main exploded under the house. Something. We didn't see that. Where are the rest of the people? How are we going to get out here?
The thing is still above us.
I wet myself.
If you're looking up, you can see this thing spiraling in the sky as it then shoots down and the ground rocks and heaves. The house shakes as it looks like it's just descended through the roof of the next door house. So it's gone through the roof of number 20. And you can hear the interior, basically the other side of the wall is collapsing like a house of cards. There's a scream which is cut short, and then because there's not much of a house between you and it now, this disgusting chomping sound of something, or rather someone, being gobbled up. Before we go any further, we can all have sand checks for seeing the hunting.
Yes.
No.
I want to grab John and pull him towards us too.
I think that I probably got ejected from the house. I was right in front of the window when it busted through the floor. I landed outside. I did 6 damage, did not fall unconscious, and I'm not looking. So I'm climbing. I passed my sand roll. I'm trying to climb the fuck away. I'm going towards the field in the back.
Yeah, you can certainly head that way. You still hear the absolutely disgusting sound of your next door neighbor being gobbled, eaten alive.
I'm heading towards bushes. I'll go under the bushes.
So somewhere where you can hide.
Yeah.
Who failed?
Failed.
I failed.
I actually passed.
Pass is good. Pass is actually mysteriously 0. Everyone else can give me a D10 on failure.
Ooh, D10. Ooh.
Okay.
Oh,
Shit,
10.
7.
10.
And
Right, both of you can give me that wonderful int roll then.
Okay.
Am I stupid? No, I'm not. I'm smart. Dang it. That's a
Play
pass.
some character sometimes, just so I don't get in the situation.
I failed by 2 points.
There you go.
I've got an 80 and I failed by 2 points.
Right. In which case, then you are blissfully ignorant. I mean, you still lose the SAM, but at least you remain in control of your actions as you rationalize this away. A smart guy sounds like he passed.
Yeah.
Well, on the plus side, you gain 5 points of Cthulhu Mythos.
Hey.
There's a nice consolation prize for you. As in your moment of insight, you start piecing together what is actually going on here. That from the bits you've heard of what they were saying about in this journal and that weird list of otherworldly locations that would be like an author's notebook. No, you realize that the previous owner, this Mr. Brett, used these books, that somewhere in one of these books there must be a way to command and bring this thing down from outer space. He locked it away in this prison and was interrogating it to learn all the places and all the far distant parts of the universe that it had seen. And that journal is full of all the things that this horror, this thing had told him, and was revealing its secrets piece by piece by piece. This immortal being, this cold, almost inhuman intelligence has been locked away in a prison, and you've just let it out.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, world.
Which neighbor got, which side got eaten?
The Fairburns, the one you hadn't got a chance to talk to yet. So the old card couple.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true. Oh, good. But
What are
at
the
least it wasn't the little girl.
What are the consequences of John's sanity loss?
Oh, yeah. Well, how do you want to flip out?
I think that I would probably have breaking down hysterically and just like crying and yelling. Oh God, what the? I doomed us. My greed.
Suddenly realize that greed is not good.
Yeah. Gordon lied.
Do I see the thing fly away from under the bush?
If you keep an eye on it, which you've passed your sand check, so you don't have to make another sand check from looking at it again. You probably realize with horror that this thing is not going away anytime soon. It rises up into the air and then dive bombs the next house. And again, you hear screaming, the tearing, collapsing of buildings, and this disgusting sound of it gobbling people up alive, probably gobbling them down whole. And maybe
when it goes down to gobble, I'm going to get up. I'm going to climb the fence, run across the road, and off into the field. I'm just going to, hopefully I can hide in whatever crop is growing there.
Mm-hmm. Right. Your best bet is actually probably the hedge, because this is winter. There's no crop growing there.
Oh, okay. Well, then I want to get something between me and that thing, and then just keep running and get the fuck away.
Okay, you are trying to leg it.
And I'm trying to leg it without being seen by it.
John is currently sat on the ground, and we will inaugurate my new little dice set and see how many rounds you are currently regretting your life choices. It's greed probably comes back to you fairly quickly and brings you back to your senses. You're only out for 2 rounds.
Okay.
What's Joe doing?
There's nothing we could do. I mean, we don't know where the books are. We don't know how to send it away.
Yeah,
I guess we just get away. I don't know what else to do.
You failed your library use roll, so you are somewhat boned at this point.
Yeah, I know.
Are they trapped under the wall?
Imagine that the corridor was there. The one solid load-bearing structure that's still left in the house, that one remains standing. The other one just went like that, so they're stuck in the gap underneath.
Okay.
But they can.
Are we stuck, or is there a passage we can kind of like crawl our way out of?
Oh, you can indeed crawl out. You can crawl towards the back of the house or the front of the house. So which way do you want to go?
Which way looks like it provides the most cover?
The back of the house.
The back of the house, yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm gonna take my chances on going back into that dimensional room and then getting eaten by Smokey. And I calmly put the thing in, I light it, and I walk towards my room to go into the dimension.
Okay, you escape into the hidden room. And then when Ron...
Try and pull John if I can, but if not, I'm not.
Give me an opposed strength roll to see if you can see if you manage to pull him.
I'm very. Oh no, 70 out of 45.
Regular success.
Okay, he is somewhat resistant as he's contemplating what the error of his ways have resulted in.
What is the garage portion of the house intact or what?
Yes, that is it. That is still intact. That's actually where Justin is going into to
yeah, I'm going to say. I mean, we had that as cover. As long as maybe like one of us stays outside and the other one stays inside, maybe we can run inside if we see it coming back or hear it coming back.
I'm in there and I'm pushing the big chair back in with me, and I'm gonna sit down and
wait for this all to blow over.
and if Joe's out, I always thought it was gonna end this way, but I didn't think it. And then
you thought it was going to end with a giant creature.
Well, it was.
I'm going to be kind of at the door. I'm going to be kind of at the edge of the thing listing, and if I hear it, then I will go in.
Okay. In which case, then those 2 rounds will have passed fairly quickly. So John sees Joe kind of stood half in, half out of this hidden room. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna grab a screwdriver and go to the van to start the van up.
Ooh, okay.
It's in there. You don't even need.
I don't need the. It's already in the screwdriver's already in there.
It's on the floorboard next to it.
All right.
John, don't you think that'll attract attention?
Shut the fuck up! I'm out of here.
We're going to see if it attracts attention or not right now. So, Asa running across the field and going across in complete darkness towards a row of trees that are on the far side of the field. You can give me a stealth roll to see if you can basically get across the open field without being noticed.
93.
Okay. Now, John can give me a drive auto roll.
Oh, boy. Okay. Yeah. Come on, baby. 77 out of 20.
Right. Now, both of you can give me luck rolls.
Oh, yeah. Come on. I haven't spent any.
Oh, 15.
19 out of 60.
Okay.
15 beats 19.
Hey, who has the better degree of success?
Mine
Normally luck is just black and white, but in this case, I want to know who got better.
Mine would just be a hard equivalent.
I don't have to outrun it. I just have to outrun you.
Is it also hard from Asa as well?
I'm sorry. What was you wanted to know if it was a hard?
Yeah, the degree of success of your luck. Normally it's black and white, but in this case.
Well, I've got 60 luck and I got a 15.
His
so it's
mine
hard
then.
as well.
Yeah.
In which case, we'll break the tie by who got basically the lowest roll. So it will be Asa that narrowly. You are realizing you're running out into the field and sticking out like a sore thumb.
Right.
But it's the fact that when John turns the screwdriver, that what band? In fact, you mentioned earlier the Sex Pistols. Suddenly, Anarchy in the UK starts screaming down the road. And the thing above you just gobbling down a pair of feet that you can see disappearing into its mouth, and then just turns and looks at you. And it starts to dive bomb you and to try and eat the car. So Asa at this point, even so, sore thumb, still manages to run the hell away. Joe and Justin, before we get back to John being the subject of being eaten, who has the lower luck?
Matt. I can't even remember.
The current luck, correct?
Yep, current luck.
I'm down to 30.
47.
So I do. I have the lower luck.
Give me a roll.
$36.
Is that a pass by
I
one?
have
was
30.
that? Oh, 30. Oh, right. It's the other one that had 30. Well, it just so happens that you were right to worry about getting stuff out of the room because time is indeed running out, and it runs out while you're inside.
Well, I'm only half. I'm right there at the edge. So if I see it start shrinking, I'm going to dive out.
Oh, yeah, it's the fact that it's not so much you have to worry about you diving out of the room because the room doesn't exist. It's that everything that was in the room is ejected. So you currently have Justin rushing past your head along with a very large Chesterfield chair.
At least I'm sitting in it.
Yeah. They are indeed as one coming through back into the place where they entered this. You can both give me dodge rolls.
That's fail.
This is doomed, I'm sure. Yes, it's doomed, yes.
Oh, no, that's a pass. Pass by 3.
Okay, pass. In which case, it's probably the fact that you are sat in the Chesterfield chair that it takes the brunt of the impact. As you come out at a roughly 90-degree angle and just slam into the wall, and then you are bounced in this wonderfully comfy chair down onto the ground. You are very much shaken, but not so much stirred. Joho probably gets knocked on the head by the fridge freezer going flying out of the room at about 30 miles an hour. Give me a D10 in damage.
Ooh.
$10.
How many points have you got?
10.
Right, that is you. There's a kind of red smear as the fridge freezer makes a sandwich with the wall and you as the filling. There's this red burst which goes everywhere, kind of mixed with all the blood inside the fridge freezer that then goes scattered out, which means more than 6 months out of its use by date. Just engulfs the room in this god awful stench, and yeah, you are very, very much dead. But maybe consolation prize is that it's been better than being eaten alive.
Yes. Actually, her last thought is she felt the thing hitting her was like, well, at least we don't have to explain this.
Well, not anymore. John is currently getting a large thing trying to eat his car. So you don't really have like an option to dodge here. This is going to be, can you drive away faster than it can try and eat you?
All
This
right.
is going to be drive auto to see if you can get the hell away.
Come on, Johnny Rotten, be with me. I don't have that much luck.
Oh,
Can I push it?
well, I'm going to say at the minute, I'm going to make a roll to see if it can actually make its attack roll against your drive.
Okay.
At the minute, all it needs to do is succeed.
All right.
You can push it, but if you fail it, I'm just going to do maximum damage on you.
All right. Yep. I'm just going to put the pedal to the metal, and I got 20 on my drive auto. That's a good push. That is not a good push.
Right. In which case, it does maximum damage on its attack, which for its fighting attack, it's going to be a D6 plus its damage bonus of 3d6. So that's 24 in total.
My toes are left.
Yep.
Your van is destroyed.
Yeah.
The mouth opens wide and then just chomps down on the car. The back end of the van is completely gone, so maybe the mattress might give it heartburn. That's, again, a small consolation prize. But yeah, the only thing that's left are the pedals at the front of the car and then the engine block going forward with your toes just then falling off the pedals as you are gobbled down with the rest of it. So, Asa, you're out of it. You've run across the field and you are now well hidden and get to sit back and watch as the chaos unfolds on the other side of the field. What does Justin do after you've been ejected along with your big comfy chair? Okay. You sit and watch the world burn. Give me a luck roll.
63, fail.
Okay. As you are content to sit back and watch, you see the little bit of the panorama that unfolds a bit too close for comfort close up. Asa will see it from a distance that the hunting horror is essentially going through each house in turn, eating anything that it finds that's alive here. And eventually, because it circles back round and then goes to the kid's house, you do indeed, Justin, do hear the little scream of poor Winona as she's bitten in two and gobbled down. There's the sound of sirens in the distance. There's a sound of what looks to be police cars, fire engines, ambulance. The whole works have been called. You see the light starting to come up the street, but that's at the point when you look up and just see this huge face looking down at you from above.
I roll up a newspaper and I swat it on the nose as it eats me. That's for Winona, and I fucking smack him.
And at that point, ka-chomp. Asa's the only survivor here. You see that this thing eventually, because it's got so much resistance coming up against it, the problem with the UK is that the police don't have guns, so they add to the menu. You see a fire engine get picked up and flipped over one of the houses, but after a while, there is simply no one left alive there for it to eat. And once its hunger's been sated after having been locked away in that thing for 6 months without being fed, you just see it curl up in the sky above the road and then just go up into the sky, through the clouds and out into space. And as you're the only one we need to worry about with a coda, what kind of happens to you after this?
Once it's all over, and I imagine by now there's got to be this rumor thing that's going outward so that more police are probably on their way. They're probably contacted the military. Eventually, they're going to be all over this. I'm, of course, horrified, but I think that if that thing comes back or if there's another one, we have to have that book. So as soon as maybe an hour after I felt that this is over and it's gone, I'm going to go back to the house and see if I can get that book. I'm sure it just is in the rubble on top, and grab it and go. And then I will keep my eyes open to see if, like, International Delta Green or something. I mean, I don't know anything about it, but I'm looking for those kind of people that might show up. In which case, I'll go and I'll give them the book and I'll say, I can read this. I can understand part of it.
Okay. Well, in which case then, as you start looking through the ruins and there is just death all around you, bits of house on fire, there's just ruins that's here. Give me a luck roll to see if you can find it before someone does turn up.
04.
Okay. Nice. You bag it. You do find, in fact, all three books in the rubble.
Okay.
So the one that you've been looking at, the Monsters and Their Kind, True Magic, and such, and you're able to maybe stuff them in a duffel bag or one of your unpacked, not even unpacked suitcases. As a Bentley, this big Bentley Arnage, this red car starts coming up the road, slowly weaving its way through the rubble, and a man gets out from behind the wheel. Gets out of the car. He's probably again in his 60s. Got plastic rim glasses, fairly round, fairly old kind of style. He's wearing a bow tie. He's got a waistcoat, and he just looks around in astonishment as his jaw almost wants to hit the ground. And he sees you standing in the rubble, and he walks over to you and says, "Is anyone else alive here?"
Nobody. Are you man I talked to on the phone?
You're the one who called me.
I was.
Right. And the man, as you've identified who he is, that is Mr. Huxley.
Mr. Huxley. Would you mind giving me a lift?
I would very much like to talk to you before the before Big Brother and the authorities get here. Yes, I have a feeling you might be able to tell me a lot about what happened here.
Yeah. Let's go.
Right, and he opens the car door up and starts to drive you back to his wonderful little estate just outside Oxford, where along the way he can explain. Well, presumably, do you tell him what happened?
I think that I'd probably have to process it for a while before I'd be able to tell him what happened. But probably once, he'd fed me dinner and got me all settled into his estate, and we could have a long discussion about it. I want in.
Hey, well, if you're receptive to all this and such, he will equally be as open back. And yeah, Darian can explain basically the context of what happened. That he's been an occultist and what in kind of game terms would be classified as a mythos sorcerer, summoning and binding creatures to create what he would consider to be the magnum opus of Cthulhu mythos grimoires. He wanted to summon as many creatures out there from the wider universe so he could build this basically bestiary to show these are the type of creatures that are out there in the wider world or the wider universe. He introduced Henry Brett to exactly the same material, but Henry went in a slightly different direction. He got mythos tomes and thought, oh, this is just occult stuff that people pay a lot for, so he sold them on, and that's how he made his living, by selling books. But then when Darian summoned a fire vampire in front of him, he said, oh crap, this stuff is actually real. What the hell? He got hold of books that he had sold on to others, started to learn more about the mythos and how to summon and bind creatures. But he was more interested in the other worlds that are out there and
Right.
other civilizations and the wider universe in terms of civilization and planets. And when he finally found a book that allowed him to summon and bind a hunting horror, he had an immortal creature that had literally gone across the universe. It had more information that it could give to him in a lifetime. So he imprisoned it, as John's insight had, and was basically pumping it for info. The blood in the fridge was what was keeping it alive because he would feed it every so often. But like a shark, this thing can eat, kind of gorge itself and then not have to be fed for a long time afterwards. It was ravenous by the time that you open the safe. But yeah, that's essentially what it was. A sorcerer had died, and you were left with basically the loose ends that were left in the wake of his dying.
Wow.
And now you get to pick up and continue with another sorcerer. Admittedly, 3 of your friends are dead, and you've got a huge load of student loans to pay off. But what the hell?
So, well, I'm going to make photocopies of all those books, obviously. All right. So, questions. What was the boogeyman? Was that just a manifestation of something?
Right. What had been happening, because you got hold of the warp space spell. As time goes on and that spell starts to break down, reality starts, or space starts to become twisted and warped as it's trying to revert back to normal. Your vision of the stairs elongating was part of foreshadowing of that. As space started to distort, you saw the staircase basically get longer and longer.
Right.
The hunting horror in its prison is basically, because it's going mad with hunger, is trying to smash its way out. The cracks all around the house potentially are a way for it to break through. It looks through the cracks every so often. So if you looked, if John had decided that something was going to be under his bed, you would have seen one of those cracks open and a huge eye in the wall, and then it would close back. The boogeyman is the hunting horror because it has various spells which it can communicate with. It can send dreams. It can put people into a hibernation sleep. It can issue commands and like thoughts that it can beam into people's heads, which is the ghost that the previous removal man heard as it tried to reach out and say, look, open the goddamn safe, let me out. And it thought the removal man thought it was a ghost because it was this disembodied voice. The boogeyman that Winona heard was the hunting horror basically going, I've asked the humans nicely. They ain't listening. I've got to force them to do something. It was getting information about her to find out, was she a valuable enough target that it could try and pull through one of those cracks when it got big enough, and then basically hold her hostage to say, you let me out now or the girl dies. And reason why I was identifying items of you for you that had significance would be it would also try and steal significant items again as leverage to try and get you to do stuff. But you just let it out without it having to worry about.
That's right. Yeah.
Right at the very end, I would say, wait a second. It sounds like you're putting your hands like this, going, now it's the end of the world. I am dead. And offering yourself to it. I was like, what the fuck?
Because the portals can have keys put on them. The main reason he did that is it's a very specific set of actions that no one could accidentally open it. If you had just gone through with the key and just gone, oh, here's a key, here's a safe, and you open the safe, it's like a one-way portal. He can drop blood down there, and the thing can feed from it, but it can't come out. You did the base of the sequence that opened the whole thing up, so you could release it fully.
Nice.
Wow, fantastic game.
I was gonna say, just
really-
try
that
it
really
with
was.
the key.
Say that again, Jason.
I said I was gonna say just try it with the key first, but I was like, nah. I mean,
Our players included. Oops, go ahead.
I say you didn't have to kill Winona though. You could have killed the rest of the city, but you could have let the little girl go.
Exactly. That's what I was concerned about, was the little girl.
Oh,
I was too afraid to go over there though.
Our players included Leslie Shaver, Keith Craig, Jason Melanchuk, and myself, with Matthew Sanderson as the keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. There's a link below. We're currently producing up to 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows, free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure in the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.